Hi, my name is Lisa de Haas. I started following Mark about 2 years ago, I think, watching his videos many times on YouTube before I became a member of the Bookkeepers Club. And it took a long time for me to actually take some action. And I think it is because I've been a bookkeeper for 43 years. And I was very set in my ways, the way I was doing it, the way I was pricing by hour, unfortunately. It took a while for me to get up the guts to do something about it and to change it. The first thing I changed was that I changed from a desktop software to QuickBooks Online. I had been using QuickBooks for many years, but that was a desktop version, not the online version. And I really liked it. I tried it on my own company first, and I really liked how I was doing it. Then I started on the pricing journey, and I'm about halfway through on pricing with fixed pricing. And my clients like it, that they have a fixed price to pay each month. I like it because I know what money is coming in. As part of the pricing upgrade, I increased the prices by 20%. So it's moving in the right direction, but I still have a long way to go. With Mark's help, I'm sure that I can do it.
My name is John Binks and I am the founder of Bink Financial. I have been involved with the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy since February, but we have been watching you from afar with your videos on YouTube for probably a good couple of months before that. Coming straight to the point, you've revolutionised the way I think about pricing, marketing, and generally the whole DNA that runs through running my business. So for that, I can't thank you enough. It's not that I was doing pricing by the hour before, but there was so much in terms of the way that the marketing all hangs together, whether it's through LinkedIn or the website. It was just basically not working. So to go back to basics and build into the ground again with the foundations that you've provided through your teachings, it's absolutely fantastic. I get it. Don't get me wrong, I haven't had the sort of years of experience in applying that, but I'm not frightened of that. That will come. The best thing that you've passed to me in the short time of being involved with your courses is just the fundamental basics and the belief it can be done. And probably most important, I've made all of the mistakes myself. It's just reassuring that I'm not the only one, and to see how you are doing what you're doing now and the credibility you carry, it just gives me the confidence that having made them mistakes, it doesn't matter. As long as you learn from that and go forward and apply it with the right basis, then that is the most important thing. So just start doing it. Just have a outcome focused mindset rather than basically getting stuck into the detail of all the tasks that make it up. Mark, thank you. I'm really pleased our paths have crossed.
My name is Tom Gogarty, and I'm a CPA in Delaware, United States. I've been working with Mark in the Value Pricing Academy since September of 2016. The big takeaways I've gotten are in pricing psychology, using the power of 7, getting rid of the zeros at the end, value pricing versus hourly billing, and doing monthly recurring versus big annual or semi-annual bills where the client will complain about it. So using his pricing psychology tactics, I have been able to stop the questions on my invoicing, which has been great. I appreciate everything Mark does. I look forward to working with him in the future and ultimately training my clients on these types of pricing issues.
stop pricing based on time, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work for you, and it certainly doesn't work for the client and customer because they hate it. So value pricing, definitely get join Mark's program if you want to kind of find out about how what the process is of implementing a value pricing system. Secondly, get a system in place, a software-based approach. Cloud pricing is one where you can kind of sit in front of the client to advise them of the price, because it takes away all the pressure on you and all the stress, because client meetings are stressful when you're talking about. No one likes talking about price. Certainly not me, certainly not most other accountants. So having kind of a software is a great aid. It makes the process so much easier, because you're pushing the onus upon the customer to answer questions, and whatever they come up with, that's the price. There's no, it gets away with all the haggling, all the bartering, all that just disappears. Oh, my accountant can do it for X, or X Y down the road can do it for this. It's all about, if they've seen the value in you and you've come up with a system and an approach to communicate what your price will be for the value that you are able to provide, then I can't take it or not, but it will certainly make your life a lot easier. Look at the other aspects of marketing mix as well, because that makes a difference. Pricing is one, but promotion and packaging is another. So is your accounting firm packaged up in the right way that when a client comes to see you, instantly are you giving the impression that that you are there to add value? It's all the glossy stuff. So in Mark's program has been great for Mark provides some brilliant resources. So I haven't had to go out and write brochures myself, because Mark gives that as part of his generous mentoring program. So I've been able to take the word copy and get a designer to design it, and we've been able to use that for clients. So instantly when clients see it's got our branding on it, it's got our name on it, I can take them through it. Instantly you've got the packaging right. It looks expensive, but all the client is willing to pay.
There's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good.
Hey, welcome. We're going to be starting in 5 minutes, but I want to just welcome a few of you that are here early, which is awesome. I hope you enjoyed some of those stories. We've got some different stories in the introduction for each of the 3 days. We had some awesome ones yesterday, some new ones tomorrow, and there's some great nuggets in some of those stories. If you've missed them, you can catch the first 8 minutes of the recordings as they get finalized on the YouTube channel. Anyway, welcome to everybody who's here so far. Let's see who we've got. I think the first person to comment was Janine. Hi there, Janine. Good to see you again from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I hope I pronounced that right. It's a great sounding name. We have as well, let me just show you. And we also have as well, Kimberly is here. Hi, Kimberly from, again, from Canada. Great to see you. Cookie is here from Texas. Hi there, Cookie. Good to see you. We have Dwight is here from the US. We have in disguise with using his alias is my friend David from Murfreesboro over in Tennessee. Good to see you here. Wonder why it's John Brown today. I'd love to know. We have Chris is here from LA in California. Great to see you. Sarah Kelly is here from Pennsylvania. So what did Sarah say? Really appreciated the list of business advisory categories from yesterday. Been trying to come up with that list on my own for a while. You're welcome. Linda Rolfs here. Hi, Linda from Orlando in Florida. We have from Ontario, Canada. We have, forget the name, Bottom Line Bookkeeping Services. We have Nancy is back again. Hi, Nancy from Atlanta in Georgia. Janine said something very useful I learned yesterday was customer segmentation, figuring out your ideal clients' characteristics and matching them to different packages. Yeah, that's so important, and we cover that a lot in the Value Pricing Academy. And we also have, I think Kimberly, I said earlier, she's then come in with a comment. Best thing I learned yesterday was the examples of some business advisory services, especially the advice and accountability sections. That was the part of the 6 things that are part of my definition of what should be in advisory. If you've just joined, we are starting in about 2.5 minutes on the hour prompt. I'm just welcoming a few people. We have Colleen is here from Barrie, also in Canada. As ever, lots of Canadians here, which is awesome. Faye asked the question, how do I access the workbook? Well, if anyone's wondering where that is, Emily's posted that into the comments. Certainly in Facebook, she definitely has. And knowing Emily, she's done it in the YouTube as well. So if you haven't got the workbook, make sure you grab that. John Johnson is here from the UK, from Hartford. Hi there, John. Good to see you again. Colleen said best bit yesterday was learning about the ratios. I know a lot of people said that the ratio stuff was the best thing. Alan's here from Margate. We also have quite a few people actually, interestingly, from my pricing academies. Lots of people I know very well. William Long as well from Ireland. Great to see you. What else? We've got, okay, Liz Taylor said, and she corrects herself by adding the Q's in front. There were no Q's the first time, so well done, Liz, for remembering. There's no CPE credits, and the reason for that, Liz, is very simple. I have an international audience, and CPE is different everywhere in the world. It's quite difficult to qualify and get them as a trainer in the US. In the UK, it's crazy simple. I think in the US, it's certainly for the Institute of Chartered Accountants, it's self-certification. So really simple, but every country, every institute has different rules. Anyway, we have Lisa here again from Sussex. Hi there, Lisa, who is excited today, and she has her workbook ready. Awesome, that's great. Antonio's here. I'm going to have to hurry up because we start in a minute, so let me go and give as many more shout outs as I can. Angelica's here as well, and they're turning a school bus into a house. That's awesome. That's so interesting. Valentina from Scotland's here. Hi there, Valentina. Great to see you again. She's in my academy. We have Elnise from South Africa. You will meet Elnise briefly, I think, tomorrow on a little video. Thank you for sharing that, Elnise. We have as well, let me go through really fast now because we're starting in 30 seconds. Elzite, is that right? Elzite, forgive me if I got that wrong. We have Jane from Green Bay. We have Christina Roberts is back. Hi, Christina. We have Steph from Derby in the UK, which is near where Sarah and I lived until we came to Portugal 12 months ago. We live near Chesterfield. Marina's here again. Hi, Marina. We have Sheila Flesher is here from Canada. We have Joan Marriott is here. We have Rob from Canada. We have Michelle's back, and hopefully Michelle, got some more questions today. Hopefully it'll become clearer, Michelle. We'll get to that later. Janine says I'm saying it right. That's Saskatoon in Saskatchewan. Thank you for confirming. We have Antonia, I've mentioned already. She's in Houston. Rainy morning in Vancouver from Liz. Okay, a few quick ones. Sybil is here. Hi there, Sybil. Great to see you. Christina's here. Who else is new that I've not said? That in the Black Bookkeeping Services, we have Corrado. Is that from Ajax? I'm not sure. Marie Christine, some Pierre, Sarah Provost. Anybody else I've not? Phil Sinclair's here. Hi there, Phil. We have Cheryl's here. Sandrine from Portugal, just north of where I am right now. Robin Joyce from Moscow. Okay, so we have someone from Moscow. Robin's always here. He comes to all my sessions. And actually, it's the first time I've seen you because I've got your image now, Robin. I've always wondered what you look like. So that answers that one. And Sarah Lewin and Shalita Hall's here from Texas. Right, I'm going to get started. So today is day 2, as you know, and this is the one where I said to you yesterday, there's a lot more content today. We go deeper on some of the things we looked at, loads to cover. So I might get excited and speak really quickly. If I go too fast, you can catch up on the recordings. So lots of stuff to cover. Just a quick recap on a few things from yesterday. So I talked about this phrase reinvent, that over the last 12 months, we've seen this huge change with things like the pandemic and the impact on the economies. And this is a really exciting time. There are, as businesses emerge out of some of the challenges and the world's opening back up again, I think we're in a world full of huge opportunities for our profession. I'm extremely excited by our profession as we move towards more cloud technology, but also in the last 12 months, using things like Zoom, connecting with people all around the world now through a webcam, through a camera. And that opens up so many interesting opportunities for us to grow our business. And tomorrow, I have something really exciting to share with you. I'm going to talk about how we can take all this business advisory stuff that we're learning and really scale it in a huge way. And that's the thing of the 3 days I'm most excited to talk about. And that's tomorrow. So watch this space. I think that today, the world we live in right now is full of so many possibilities for us in this profession. As I said yesterday, I am an accountant from the UK. I wish I was starting my accounting practice today, not in 1996, because there are so many more opportunities to scale our firms. Things like social media for marketing didn't exist when I started in 96. I was having to go to networking events, which I hated, being an introvert. So exciting times. Now, yesterday I forgot something really important to tell you in the announcements up front, and it's my fault. And many of you will know that one of the things that we decided is that because a lot of people are suffering all around the world, particularly now because of the last 12 months. And I'm very privileged and fortunate and lucky, as I think many of us are, that we have businesses, we have income, but there are so many people struggling right now around the world. So one of the things we want to do is help make the world a better place. We've been involved for a while now with an organization called B1G1. And what we decided this year is that for many of our events, particularly our Value Pricing Academy events, of which we treat the Business Advisory Masterclass as part of that, what we do is whenever you show up to a live session, we make a contribution on your behalf to some sort of worthy cause. And over the course of these 3 days, we've chosen 3 projects that fit in with the UN Global Goals, one of which is health. I should have said this yesterday, because for every single person that showed up live yesterday, we made a contribution to provide a week's worth of access to clean water to people in parts of the world that just don't have access to water. They have real health issues because of that. So as a thank you, if you came live yesterday, what Sarah then did just early on today is we then made a contribution giving 2,940 days of access to clean water for people around the world, and that's thanks to you coming live yesterday. So today, what are we doing? Today we have another project, which is another one of the UN Global Goals, which is about education. And so we're here to learn stuff. And what we decided was that what we will do is for each and every one of you that are here live, and we'll get the stats at the end of the session, we will tomorrow make a contribution and provide a day of education for underprivileged children on your behalf. And tomorrow I'll tell you how many days that equates to when we've added up the numbers. And just so you know, when you attend tomorrow, another of the UN global goals is all about sustainability, making this planet, the environment better, making the planet last a bit longer. And so one of the things that we'll do tomorrow is for every one of you that shows up live on your behalf, we will contribute to planting a tree. So please come tomorrow to help make the environment a better place. Okay, and we do that every month in the Value Pricing Academy. We even let you choose which of the projects you would like us to make a contribution on your behalf. Okay, that's B1G1. If you have no idea what that is, I will tell you another day. It's an amazing organization about doing good, making the world a better place. Okay, so the other things I want to quickly talk about before we dive into the content is I want to remind you, please ask questions. As you know from yesterday, I will keep going and answer, if possible, every single question. I think yesterday we did answer all the questions. It took a while. We were here for, I don't know what it was, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, but I just kept going to answer questions. So we'll do the content first. But if you have questions, let me know. But please put a double Q in capital letters, QQ at the start and a question mark, because the comments goes crazy and I may miss your question. So please, QQ in front if you have a question, and I will be answering those later in the session. So I'm just seeing if there are any questions just in right now that I need to answer, and I can't see anything at the moment. But what I am going to do is the last person that commented. Okay, Steph says, wow, that has made me feel so good. Thank you for doing that. You're welcome. It's something that we're very passionate about, helping the world become better. And lots of people in the Value Pricing Academy are also doing the same thing and are part of the B1G1 organization. And Cheryl says, love that you do this, Mark. It's made me think of the ways I can incorporate some type of giving into my business. Okay, I'll introduce you at some point via the Value Pricing Academy to some of the people that are involved in that organization. They can tell you more about it. Okay, so I've just starred those so I know where I got to in the comments for later when I look for questions. Right, I also just remember that we're talking about business advisory, and if you want to go deeper on the stuff I teach, we are unlocking on Monday our 6-month training on how to profit from business advisory. And also we are unlocking and opening up enrollments for the Value Pricing Academy, which is closed for most of the year. We open up twice a year for 6 days. And so now is an opportunity to join the Academy, and then we close for 6 months on Monday. I'll tell you more about that later, and I'll be answering your questions as well. Now, one of the things that I mentioned, this huge opportunity for us. There are firms that I work with doing some incredible things, getting some incredible results. And if you saw those videos earlier as part of the intro music, some firms I'm very proud to have the privilege to work with, building great accounting firms. And there's no doubt that the frameworks that I teach, they work, but there's no magic button. Unfortunately, I can't give you a secret formula that you can just press a button, wave a magic wand, and it fixes all of your problems. There is no magic button to building a successful business. It's about doing the work. What I teach is the frameworks. What I teach is stuff that works. You've then got to work the plan. And when you do that, when you do the things I teach, you will get results. And I said yesterday that there are those two types of people, if you may remember. There are those people that come along to conferences and workshops and webinars, and they read books and watch videos, and they take lots of notes. They're great note takers. But the people that really get the results, that do amazing things, are the action takers. So my question for you again is, are you a note taker or an action taker? Are you going to go and do something as a result of being here this week? And so what I'd love to know is in the comments box, is as a result of yesterday and the things that you learned, what are you going to do different? What's the action you're going to take in the area of based on what you learned and the advisory stuff? What action will you take? What will you do? Let me know in the comments box. We do read the comments afterwards, so if I don't mention them, I will read them later. So what action are you going to take as a result of yesterday? And the final thing, or no, two final things, if everything goes horribly wrong, because we are live and things sometimes go wrong, sometimes the internet cuts out. I think I said to you yesterday, last time we did this, we had a power cut. If something goes wrong, my team are on hand. Emily's back in the UK. She will figure out what's gone wrong. She will put in the comments box. We may have to restart the stream. It's only happened once, but you never know. It's best to be prepared. So if something goes wrong, just keep the stream going. Keep your eye on the comments box. We will update you, and it may be if something goes wrong, worst case scenario, we give you a link to hop onto, and we'll pick up where we left off. Okay, that's if things go wrong. They were fine yesterday, but I did have a problem earlier this year. And last but not least, make sure you have got your workbook. It looks a bit like this, and there's the links. Emily's going to put the links. You should have your workbook. Hopefully you got it yesterday, but if you haven't got the workbook for whatever reason, then we'll give you the links. You will want it because we're going to build on that case study today. So where are we going? Yesterday, we looked at 3 of the big challenges that people tell me they have with advisory. Understanding what it is, and how to spot opportunities. And if you remember, I went through those 6 key elements that make up the definition of advisory. We looked at a case study of how to look at the numbers and analyze them better. Then we looked at the challenge of how do we package it up into something that we can sell. And we wrapped up yesterday with some thoughts on communication, communicating value. So today we're going to look at two more challenges. How do we sell advisory? Because we're accounting professionals and selling's uncomfortable. So we'll look at that. We'll look at the selling piece and how we can sell advisory without that uncomfortable selling. And the other big challenge that we have is how do we price it? How do we come up with a value-based price for advisory? And we're going to go deep on that as well today. So there are 2 pieces for today. And tomorrow we're going to look at then how do you do this stuff? How do you deliver it? And also, how do we start to find the right clients? How can we grow our firm? How can we use our newfound advisory skills and win more clients, more of the right types of clients? So marketing, if you like, is what we'll look at tomorrow. Make sure you come live if you can tomorrow, because if you come live, you will be planting a tree, not literally, but we will be contributing to that project. And secondly, because you can ask your questions in the comments box and we'll answer them later. Okay, so let's get into the content. I told you we'd get to the content quicker because we have more today. So let's start with the selling piece first, then we'll come to the price. How do we sell advisory? Well, that's not the screen I wanted, it's this one. So one of the things that I mentioned yesterday, as well as of course reinvent, is I mentioned the 3 stages of the value conversation. And I talked about how we need to uncover the value first, how we need to then build the value, and then we need to capture the value in the price. So uncovering the value is about asking the right questions and understanding where is the client right now, where do they want to get to, and what's the pain, and so on they're going through. We ask questions first. Then what we want to do is build up the value. And we do that by adding more value, by making our service more valuable and communicating in a way where they understand it. And we touched on that yesterday. And then the capturing the value is we set a price based upon the value that we create and the value that the perception of value, the value the customer sees, the client sees. If we don't communicate value and they don't see the value, then they won't pay any price. They won't pay any price. We have to make sure that we build up the value, we communicate it, and then we price based upon that value. So today we're going to look at that. We're going to go deeper on some of that. And when it comes to selling, I hate selling. I'm an introvert. It's not my thing. I had a mentor in the UK called Peter Thompson, extraordinary man, a good friend of mine now. And one of the things he said to me, he said, Don't sell. Don't sell. You allow people to buy. Now, the first time he said that, I kind of thought, I don't kind of get that. What does he mean by that? But what he meant, eventually the penny dropped for me, is that we don't need to use these sales techniques that we're uncomfortable with, like the closers. And there's actually research that shows that these closers that salespeople make isn't the key to good selling. What we do is we just make sure that what we've got is so good and that we communicate it so that with the client then makes a choice. If they want to buy, they can buy it. If they don't, no problem, we can talk to somebody else. When we think of it in that way, it takes a lot of the pressure off. It takes the pressure off. We're just allowing them to buy. And so what we want to do is create a process, a selling process, but we want to do it in such a way where, first and foremost, we're just delivering value. We want to make sure that our sales process delivers value, because when you deliver value, then people will buy. People will buy when they can see the value. So we need to have a process. And I teach the process in detail in the training, but I'm going to cover it in overview here so you can start to think about how you're going to apply it. The way that I teach it is that you want to run a meeting with the client and give it a name, not a free initial consultation. This is a special meeting with a purpose in mind to get people to see the value of your advisory solution and have the opportunity to buy. And so I call it the Profit Diagnostic Review. The Profit Diagnostic Review. It's positioned as something that's valuable. I first started doing this, if you remember from yesterday, I started my accounting firm in May 1996. Made tons of mistakes in the first 2.5 years. Met Steve Pipe in November 98. He changed the way I thought about running an accounting firm. I then got into advisory work. And during the course of 1999, I did a lot of advisory work. And I started to fine-tune my process, my system, for how I got people to buy. And that's the system which I call the Profit Diagnostic Review. It's what we're going to cover today. It's a process that was first and foremost about delivering value and then allowing the customer to buy. And one of the things I learned is that if you want customers to buy from you, what we have to do is we have to demonstrate and inspire. So when I say demonstrate, what we have to do is we want to demonstrate that we can help them. Demonstrate that we can solve their problems. Demonstrate that we can help them achieve the things they want out of their business, out of their life. And we can demonstrate in a number of different ways. We can demonstrate by sharing some knowledge, some ideas. We can demonstrate with numbers. And since we're the experts in numbers, that's really where we should start our focus. We're just using our existing expertise and using numbers, the power of numbers, to demonstrate what's possible in their business. And thirdly, we demonstrate with stories, which I'm not going to cover I won't cover so much today, but that's one of the most powerful things in marketing and selling, is demonstrating with stories, collecting success stories from your clients. As you help clients, you want to get their stories. So we demonstrate, and we're going to focus today on the demonstrate with numbers piece, which is the best place to start. And what we want to do is, through that demonstration, and I'm going to get practical, so I'll show you the things we do, the analysis we can do. We want to inspire them. We want them to come away from that meeting thinking, wow, I didn't realize that was possible. And start to get excited about the future possibility and knowing that you're the person that's going to help them get to that place. So that's the key really to selling advisory. We don't sell, we allow them to buy. We demonstrate and we inspire them. We get them so inspired they want to take the next step of working with you. Okay, let's get a little bit more practical now and drill that down a little bit more. So when we have this profit diagnostic review, remember I talked about the 3 stages of the value conversation. Uncover the value, build the value, and then we capture the value in our price. Now that I teach in detail in the Value Pricing Academy, and that 3 stages we apply to everything that we do and sell, whether you're talking to somebody about your payroll solution, your bookkeeping solution, whatever it might well be. And of course, we apply it to our business advisory. But today I'm going to give you just drill down a bit further. So as we're going through this process, the first thing we want to do, thinking about uncover the value, is we want to ask questions. We want to ask the client questions or the prospect questions. And we want to understand, and you may remember we touched on this yesterday, it's part of it's part of what makes up advisory. We want to start off by understanding, where do they want to get to? We want to ask some questions to understand what their goals are in life, their aspirations, not just in business, but life. Because as Michael Gerber once said, business is a boring, boring waste of time. Business is a boring, boring waste of time. He went on to say, the only reason for having a business is to give you more life. And the question is, what is more life? In other words, we have to think about, and this is you with your business and when you help your clients, the starting point is, what do they want out of their life? In my case, a decade ago, is I wanted to move to somewhere sunny like Portugal, where I can go out on the bike every day without worrying about ice, snow and rain, and where I can sit around a pool and chill out, which we'll do later, Sarah and I, where we can go to the cafe every day, we can go to the restaurant every day. I painted a picture of my life 10 years ago. And then you ask the question, when you know what your life wants to look like, then you say, okay, so now how do I build a business that gives me that life that I want? And that's where you start off with your client. You want to understand, what do they want out of life? And then we can ask them, what do they want out of their business? And how do we build a business that creates that more life? So we want to understand that. We want to ask questions. We want to talk about their goals. Then we want to talk about where they are now. And we want to ask questions to find out, what are the challenges they're facing right now? What are the frustrations that they're having? What are the roadblocks getting in the way? Ultimately, what we're trying to do is uncover the pain that's going on right now. What's the pain in their business? It could be they're hemorrhaging sales, losing customers. It could be that cash flow is terrible. Whatever it is, we want to uncover that pain. And the reason for that is because whilst people want to get to somewhere, people are more motivated by the avoidance of pain than they are by the attainment of gain. So the more that we can focus on their pain right now, the more they realize the extent of the pain and the things going wrong in their business, the more they realize they need you to help them solve that problem. So we ask questions. And that's the starting point of your meeting. We start off by asking questions to find out where they want to get to and where they are right now. Because you'll remember that I said yesterday that a key part of advisory is strategy. And strategy is essentially all the things that could be done to get from A to B, to get from where they are now to where they want to get to. That's all strategy is. So that's the starting point in the conversation. We ask some questions to understand those two things, where they want to go to and where they are right now, the problems, the pain, the challenges. Once we've then done that, we want to start adding some real value. We want to show them what's possible in their business. We want to play with some numbers because we are the numbers experts. Now, to do that, you need to understand what drives profit. What drives profit in a business? Because your clients probably don't know. They're not numbers experts. But what I found is that for any business, there is a mathematical model that sits behind the business model. There's a mathematical model that describes the business. And that mathematical model has a number of different drivers. You will probably find when you're doing advisory work and you're talking to a client, one of the pain points is almost certainly they're not making enough profit. Or one of the objectives, the goals, the outcomes is they want to grow their business. They want to make more sales, more profit. And so you might think, okay, I'm going to help the client increase their profits. The problem is you cannot manage profit. You can't help the client increase their profits. You'll fail. And the reason for that is because profit is just an end result of a whole bunch of other stuff. And so what we have to do is understand, well, what are all those various things? What are all the drivers that then arrive in profit? Profit is just an end number. It's an end result. Now, every business has this mathematical model. And if we really simplify it, then you know that profit is a result of taking sales and deducting costs. Okay, really simple. Sales minus costs is profit. And so if we want to increase profit, we can do one of two things. We can focus on increasing our sales, or we can focus on reducing costs. Now, that's a little bit simplistic because firstly, there's different types of costs that have different types of impacts on the profit. For example, and the two core ones are we can break costs down to variable or direct costs and fixed costs, which is essentially where a set of financial statements comes in. When we look at a set of annual financial statements, it usually shows sales minus variable or direct costs. That equals your gross profit. Then we take off our fixed costs, and that's our net profit. And that's the extent to which traditional statutory annual financial statements show the business model, which isn't very helpful. Because firstly, the mistake a lot of accounting professionals make when the client wants to make more money is we focus on costs, which is the wrong place to focus, because the real potential is on sales, the top line. As someone once said, you can't cut your way to greatness. You won't build a great business by cutting costs all the time. That's not to say that costs are important and we shouldn't have some sort of attention to costs, but that's not where we're going to change people's lives. The problem is that just like we can't manage profit, it's the end result, we can't manage sales either, because sales is the end result of a whole bunch of processes and a mathematical model. So one of the things I teach when we go through the training in detail, I teach the 9 drivers of profit. It's a mathematical model that we can then start to look at and work out where's the best place to focus our attention to increase profits. And what I'm going to do today is we'll look a little bit at the 9 things later, but I want to start off with a really simple way to get started, but it's also really powerful. Because if your client wants to grow their business and have a bigger business, then they're going to have to focus on that top line, the sales. Not the direct cost or the fixed cost, but the sales. The problem we have is we're accountants. And we have this negative self-talk that says, I'm just an accountant, I'm just a bookkeeper, I can't help people with marketing or selling, I'm an accountant or a bookkeeper. But actually, when we realize that it's just a bunch of numbers, and when we understand the model and what drives sales, we actually know a lot more than we give ourselves credit for. So let me break this down, because I'm going to keep it simple. There are essentially 3 ways to grow any business. Now, this is something that the famous marketer in the US, Jay Abraham, was been talking about for 3 decades now, the 3 ways to grow a business. And then Paul Dunn at the Accountants Bootcamp turned into 4 ways to grow a business. And I've gone a bit deeper. There's actually, I think, 5. There's 5. But we'll look at the 3 because these are the 3 that are easy to grasp, easy to understand. So with that said, let me move across. I've got some slides to show you. So what are the drivers? What makes up sales? What's the mathematical model behind every business when it comes to sales? Well, one of the components of sales is how many customers do you have? Because if you have more customers, the sales goes up, obviously. The mistake that people make when they are looking to grow their business, and accountants and bookkeepers are just the same, we call them clients normally, is we think, okay, to grow our business, we want to win more customers, we want to win more clients. Now, there's nothing wrong with winning more customers, with winning more clients, but that's the hardest way to grow your business. There are 2 other ways that are much easier, and ones that are often neglected, because we think that the key is to just win more clients. Let's just get more clients. Let's get more customers. Then all our problems will go away. No, they don't, because we have to fix other things first. So if we think about the model, sales is made up out of the number of customers, but it's also made up of how much do they spend each time they do business with you. How much do they spend? And there's ways to change that number. And the other thing is how often do they spend with you in a year? What's the average transaction frequency? What's the average number of times that people do business with you? because this gives us some more deeper insights where we can start to then focus our energies to help our clients get the results that they want. Let's go to that case study, because this will start to become clearer as we play with some numbers, because of course we are numbers experts. It's easier with numbers. So I said to you yesterday that when we do this analysis, there's some great numbers in financial statements, but there are some other numbers that we might want to get hold of that will be really useful. So I think these are in the workbook. So we already know that for the last 5 years, for this case study business, Jeremy's water jet cutting business, that we know his sales, because it's in the financial statements, it was 810,000, reduced down to 650, but then grew a bit in year 10. But two other numbers that are really useful to you is how many customers did the business deal with in the year? How many customers were there? Which is a number that for most of your clients, you can access that. You could go in and you could go into their accounting records and you'll be able to see how many customers they dealt with during the course of the year for most businesses. Not all, because they might not have the data. And there are some businesses where you might measure some different things. For example, if you've got clients in the restaurant industry, there may be some different measures. Or it may be maybe they just don't know the customers, they haven't got the details, in which case if they don't know the numbers, there's an opportunity for you to help them improve their systems so they can get the data. We want to get the data. The other thing we want to know is how many transactions were there in the year. So if it's a non-cash business of raising invoices, that's a relatively easy number to look at to find, because you just have to go into their accounting records. What was the first invoice in the year? And it'll be given an invoice number. And as you know, they're always sequential. What was the last invoice number in the year? Take one from the other, and that's the number of invoices. Now, why is that useful? Because with those two bits of information, we can then do a little calculation to work out what is the average amount that people spend when they do business. So for this particular business, if there are 810,000 in sales, and there are 500 transactions, then if we divide one by the other, we get to 1,620. In other words, what's the average size of the invoice, the average amount that people spend each time they do business? It's 1,620. You can get that number. Okay, you're going to see in a short while why this is so important, why this will really help you. So we work out the average spend. Simple formula. And the other thing we want to do is figure out how often, on average, do customers buy? Well, if there were 500 invoices raised in the year, 500 transactions, and 100 customers bought, then one divided by the other gives us 5. It means that on average, the customers bought from us 5 times per year. Now, what you can do, I've given you those numbers in the workbook. What you can then do is for each of those 10 years, you could calculate those numbers. And you could look at, thinking about yesterday, we can now look at the trends. What are the trends in those numbers? What are they telling us? And if those of you that have joined the Value Pricing Academy, it reminds me of something I had to say, Sarah told me to say. I'll come on to that in a second. In fact, now, if you joined, there was a lady who joined yesterday. I think her name's Ruth Clark. I don't know if Ruth, you're here. Announcement for Ruth. Your email was bouncing. So this actually goes to anybody. It rarely happens, but sometimes people put the wrong email address in or something. Just make sure that when you joined the Value Pricing Academy, you did get some form of notification to confirm. That means everything's gone through okay. If you've not heard anything, then there's a problem with your email. And so just reach out to Sarah, support@wickersham.co.uk. She'll make sure that everything's set up okay. But we can't get in touch with Ruth because all the emails that we can find for by doing Google searches, they all bounce. Okay, so it's one of those things that doesn't happen very often, but occasionally things get caught in spam filters. So I mentioned yesterday briefly that all these numbers you can calculate yourself. You can build Excel spreadsheets and so on and do them. The maths isn't difficult. The ratios, you can build the ratios. If you join the Value Pricing Academy, I've teamed up with one of my ex-students, Jim Rayner, who's amazing. He's an accountant in the UK. I've actually known him since 2008. because he actually went on the same accountant's masterclass when I first met Steve Pipe. He was in the room. So I've known him for 1998, sorry. I've known Jim for 23 years, extraordinary accountant, doing amazing things with business advisory, but he's also a mathematician and an Excel wizard. And one of the things he's agreed to do is provide some fascinating tools for members of the Value Pricing Academy, which will do all the calculations for you and produce all the graphs and charts that you need. So on the screen right now, this is the data for Jeremy's business. When we look at average sale value, okay, when we look at the average sales value, and that's the bars, by the way, the bars are the sales. So you can see they go from 810 up to 710,000 in the latest year. But the line shows average sale value. So do you remember I said to you yesterday, when I track the trend, which is those bars on that left-hand chart, the columns, that was the chart I showed you yesterday. And I said to you, do you know, I'd really be interested to know from Jeremy, why did his business kind of nosedive really in the last 5 years? Apart from the very last year, it's gone back up again. What might be the reason for that? And one of the things that I find really interesting is that the average sales value actually went up. And so that starts to go upwards a couple of years back. And so I'd want to ask some questions about that. Why are people buying more from you? I'd want to delve a little bit more into that, because that's telling us something about what's going on with sales. And the other thing that's interesting when we look at frequency is people buy from Jeremy's business pretty much the same frequency. They buy about 5 times a year, every year. But not 4 years ago. There was an anomaly there, and I'd want to know why. That's the right-hand chart. If you look at the line, I'd want to know why is that different? Because there could be something there. Very often you see what happens is we do something in our business that gets a great result. It may be that you join a networking group, or maybe you start posting some stuff on social media and start getting more people making inquiries. And then what happens is we get a great result from doing something, and then we go on a conference or a course and someone talks about something else and we see a new shiny object and we think, oh, we're going to work, that's the thing we're going to do, we're going to work on that. 3 or 4 years later, we forget there was something we did before that actually worked. And this happens with everybody in business. We do things that worked, and then we try something else different and forget what that thing was, and we sometimes just don't keep doing the things that are working. And so something about that business, looking at the numbers, something was working 4 years ago in terms of people were buying more frequently. They were buying more often, quite significantly more. And I'd want to know why. And it may be that 4 years ago, Jeremy introduced a follow-up process where every time somebody bought, he followed up with a phone call. Or he could have had what's called a next sales script. He could have used a particular strategy that was getting great results. And then he started doing something different and he forgot all about it. Now, why is this then important? Well, it goes back to understanding the numbers. See, the clients don't understand the numbers. They don't do this. So let's look at the implications for a second. Let's imagine, so here's Jeremy's business. In year 10, he did 710, a slight upturn, but generally speaking, his business has been declining for 5 years. For the last couple of years, he had 75 customers and he raised 390 invoices during the course of year 10. So if we want to project forward and think about next year, think about year 11. What would happen to Jeremy's business if he didn't change anything but one thing? What if he still in year 11 still served the same 75 customers? He just kept the same customers and worked with them. He didn't worry about trying to do expensive marketing campaigns, things, and worrying about winning new customers. Perhaps he just focused on the 75 that he's worked with this year. And let's imagine for the next 12 months he has 75 customers. And let's imagine he doesn't change his pricing, he doesn't change anything that affects average spend, and that he manages to match in year 11 the 1,820 average transaction value. But let's imagine he wants to reintroduce whatever it was he did in year 7. What would happen to his business if instead of people buying 5.2 times a year on average in year 10, they bought 6.11 times, because he's done that before. He did it 4 years ago. Why can't he replicate whatever he did? And so if we were to focus on that area of his business, if we were to work with Jeremy to focus on that one thing, that one driver of profit, and see if we can get it back to 6.11, would it make much of a difference? Well, Jeremy might not think so because he doesn't understand the numbers. But let's just play with the numbers. So let's go back to those three, the formula. Sales is made up of the number of customers multiplied by how much they spend on average each time they do business, multiplied by how frequently on average they do business in a year. If he has 75 customers and they still spend on average 1,820, but this time it's 6.11 is the frequency. If we do the calculation, just changing that one element from 5.2 to 6.11, then sales becomes 834,000. Let's now plug that in to the profit and loss account to see what difference that might make. So just remember mentally, 834,000 is what would be his sales if everything was the same, but he changed that, worked on that one driver of profit. So here's our profit, here's our P&L account in year number 10. Year 11, we're going to go to 834. Let's assume that we maintain gross profit percentage at 35.2. So yes, direct costs will go up because he's making more sales. People are buying more frequently, so that will go up, we'll account for that. Let's assume fixed costs aren't changing because he doesn't need to change his business. He's got the same factory, he's got that brand new water jet cutter that he's bought a couple of years back. If you plug that in, then what happens? It almost doubles his profits. Just focusing on one aspect of the business, and he can almost double his profits. So we need to understand what drives profits. We need to show people. So when I was doing, back in 1999, 2000, 2001, when I was doing advisory work, I developed this profit diagnostic review process. And what I would do is ask some questions. Remember, we want to identify where's the client want to get to, what's their goals, their aspirations for their life, their business, where are they right now, what's the pain. What I would then do is I'd talk about different ways to grow their business. Okay, so you're here, Jeremy, right now, with these numbers today, with these problems. You've said you want to get to here. So if you want to get from here to here, Jeremy, then we need to start working on some things in the business. So let's start to analyze the numbers in a bit more detail to see what might be possible in your business, and then we can figure out some strategies. And so what I did is I opened up a piece of software. Originally it was an Excel spreadsheet. You could do the spreadsheet, it's not that difficult to do. I created an Excel spreadsheet, I turned it into software because it was my number one tool for inspiring clients, demonstrating with numbers what's possible, inspiring them so they then say, wow, can I really get those results? So I call the software Profit Diagnostic because it's a profit diagnostic review. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to switch across to the software. I think it's all ready. I'm just double checking. I might just have to log in again. Let me just quickly do that. Okay, let's hang on a second. I'm just going to do that one more time. Just because it's been sat here for about an hour or two not touched, and it does after a while log me out. Not always good for demos. So Profit Diagnostic is a tool that's great for demonstrating with numbers. So let me go into, if I just go into my client, Jeremy, and I just started this a little while earlier. So I've got in here the numbers for his business. So these are the numbers that are in your workbook. He's got annual sales of 710,000. He's making a net profit of 33,000. I've got his balance sheet data in there. So it took me about 5 minutes just to enter the data. And what we can now do is we can play around with numbers with the client to show them what's possible. So if I just quickly fast forward to the growth drivers, I've already just entered in 17.5%. Why 17.5%? Because mathematically, if you do the math, if Jeremy was getting customers last year to buy 5.2 times on average during the year, and 4 years ago was 6.11, then if we could get back to 6.11, mathematically that's a 7.5% increase in how frequently people buy. And if we go to the results page, that would show an extra 124,250 to top line, an extra profit of 43,750. They're the numbers I showed you on that slide. Slight changes because of subtle rounding differences. I'm just going to go and for a second change that back to 0, because this is how I would use it in the client. So I'd put these numbers in front of the client. And what I would then do is, and one of the things I'll do actually is I'll just put me back on the screen. Okay, one of the things that I would then do is talk to the client and give them some ideas on how they can grow their business and start to understand some of the numbers and what's possible. Remember, I'm demonstrating and inspiring them. And one of the things we've not talked about yet, but the place I would always start is, as we work down the left-hand side, is I'd look at the pricing first. Because for most businesses, including probably your business, most small businesses are too cheap, pricing too low, and that's why they're struggling. And my advice is always we fix the pricing before the marketing. That's why the Value Pricing Academy is focused first and foremost on pricing, because there's no point winning more customers at the wrong prices. We just become a busier fool. And pricing is the single thing that can change profits faster than anything else. And so if in my conversation with Jeremy, I know he said I've asked him about his goals and he says he wants to grow his business. So what I would say, this is what I used to say when I was running my accounting firm, I would say, Jeremy, tell me if you want to grow your business, and just bear me a second, okay, because I'm running on a really small laptop for some reason. Okay, so what I would do is I'd just ask the client, in order to grow your business, do you think you need to increase or decrease your profits? Sorry, your prices. And what I find is over and over again, people say to me, in fact, I'll come back to this, I'll keep switching backwards. When I say that question, do you think you should be increasing your prices to grow your business and get to where you want to? Or do you think you might be better off reducing prices a bit, perhaps through some promotions, some special offers, some sales, some discounts? Every time I did this with clients, they would say, I want to grow my business. I think I need to probably discount my price a bit more. It's what people always say. I need to perhaps reduce the prices or keep them the same. I never hear people say, I need to put my prices up. And so when you then play with the numbers and say, okay, so Jeremy, tell me, how much do you think you might need to reduce your prices by to get to the number, to grow the business the way where you want to get it to be? And he might say, 10%? Okay, we could look to reduce your prices by 10%. Let me just flick back. We could reduce price by 10%. And Jeremy, if you did that, how many extra customers would you win as a result of doing that? If you reduce your prices by 10%, how many more customers would you win? And usually they say a number that's fairly similar. I often found when I did this that they would say the same number. Well, I'll get 10% more customers. Okay, great. So you'll get 10% more customers. Did you know, Jeremy, that if you do that, if you put in a 10% discount and win 10% more customers, what would happen to your business? And if you look on the screen, this is at the bottom of in the bottom right. If you did that, your sales wouldn't change much. It would drop by 7,000. But the key thing is your gross profit would drop by 53,000. He's not even making that at the moment. He would wipe 53 grand off his profit and 41 grand off his bank account. And most businesses don't realize that. They don't understand the impact of reducing prices. Discounts are crazy. It's why I talk about it a lot in my last book, which is Price, the Fastest Way to Change Profits. Most small businesses think it's about focusing on being more competitive and lowering prices, and that's a recipe for disaster. And what I used to find is when I show those numbers to the clients, they'd go, wow, I didn't know it would be that bad. And so one of the things I would then do is I'd then say, well, look, if I hit this reveal button, Jeremy, do you realize if you reduce your prices by 10%, just to be in the same position and make the same money, you'd have to win 39.7% more customers? And most people have no idea because they don't do the maths, they don't understand. Is it likely that suddenly he'll get nearly 40% extra business? And he'd need to get it overnight because his discount, his price drop will impact now immediately. He needs 40% more customers really quick just to break even. And the question I would then say to people is, so Jeremy, tell me, if you were to do that, what sort of those extra 40% of customers you want to win, are they going to be the great customers that value what you do, or are they going to be the ones that are just looking for the cheapest and always complain, moan, whinge, and go somewhere else as soon as somebody else is cheaper? And you know the answer. It's not a great strategy. So what I would then do at that point is, every time I did that, the client then realized that actually they should be looking at their prices and raising prices. And I might give a few examples of how to do it. And we looked at something yesterday, didn't we? We looked at menu pricing. So you might, for example, talk to Jeremy and say, one of the things we could do is when you do a proposal for doing water jet cutting, why not introduce two other options? And in the software, you can actually play around with numbers and do all of that. And I'm not going into it now because today isn't supposed to be a full demo. I just want to introduce you to some ideas. So I would then share with the client a couple of one pricing idea. Jeremy, what if you did this? And when I've done this for other businesses, they've often found that they've managed to increase their prices quite significantly without losing clients. And those of you that are in the Value Pricing Academy will know that I teach so many strategies that you can use, and many of those strategies for increasing prices and not losing clients, you can apply to your business, to businesses. Businesses can use menu pricing just as well as you can. So I'd then say to the client, I'd say, Jeremy, so tell me, now that we've gone through those ideas of menu pricing, tell me, you've said you now agree we should increase prices. How much do you think you might increase your prices by? Now, what I tend to find is that the client now gets bullish and they'll say, do you know what, I'm going to go for about 15%. Okay, Jeremy, well, let's imagine that you will lose some clients, and you may well lose some clients when you do that. How many do you think you'll lose? And the sorts of numbers I'd get is probably a bit less than that, 10%. Okay, let's put in 10%. Let's imagine you lose 10% of customers. If you do that, Jeremy, you will increase your top line sales by $24,850. You'll increase your bottom line profit by $70,850. And you'll increase the cash in your bank after all the taxes and stuff by $54,000. And if you wanted to, you could then go in and walk through the results in more detail if you wanted to. Every time I did that with business owners, they'd go, wow, I had no idea. Because most don't. They don't understand the numbers in a business. Price is so critically important. It can kill a business when we do discounts and in the wrong way, when we use sales and offers and things. We see it all the time in the world around us. Most businesses that go out of business are the discount businesses. The premium ones, like the Apples of this world, are the ones that survive the longest, that are the most successful. Price is the most important thing to start with. And so when I'm adding value in this meeting, you want to discuss price. What happens if you reduce your prices? What happens if you increase? Show them some numbers. Give them one idea for how they could change their pricing. You might share menu pricing. Okay, so having then done that, I'm going to hit save and next because that's one of the profit drivers. Then I might look at something else. So we looked at that average transaction frequency, but let's just pick one other thing. Let's take sales and marketing. So I might ask the question of Jeremy, with better sales and marketing, how much do you estimate you could increase your sales by? Well, what we want to do is in this conversation is we want to create some context. So this is the script that I would use. I would say something like this. Jeremy, what do you find is the best way of growing your business? Referrals, word of mouth. Referrals is great. So Jeremy, tell me, how many systems do you have in place in your business right now to generate referrals on autopilot? And when I ask that question, people would look at me and think, referral systems? I've none, I guess. I don't have any. So Jeremy, you're just relying on luck. You're hoping and keeping your fingers crossed that people are saying great things about you. Yeah, I guess so. Think of it like this, Jeremy. Imagine that you went to all of your customers right now. You have 75, and I know they love what you do. You said that earlier. Imagine you went to your customers and you asked them for 3 referrals. And imagine that your customers get, on average, they didn't all give you 3, but on average, they gave you 1 referral. Some gave you 3, some gave you 2, some perhaps none, but on average, they gave you, you got 1 referral. That means if you've got 75 customers, you've got 75 referrals. And you told me earlier, Jeremy, that your sales conversion rate is 50%. You convert 50% of the people you meet into a paying customer. So if you convert 50%, that's 32, 33 new clients. If you realize, Jeremy, if you could put in a referral system like that, where you get on average 1 referral for each client and you convert 50%, you've just grown your business by 50%. So Jeremy, do you think it might be possible that we could work together, you and I, and we can be creative and come up with some ideas from some referral systems that helps you to win more customers? Yeah, I guess so. So mathematically, you could grow by 50%, but let's not be bullish. Let's cut that number down and be really conservative. Jeremy, tell me, what do you think might be possible in your business? What do you think you could increase your number of customers by with some great referral systems? I guess I should be able to do 20%, 10%, 20%. Let's be conservative, Jeremy. Let's put 10% in. And so we do that, and just putting a simple referral system in and getting 10% could increase the bottom line by 5,000. Wow, didn't know that. We could go back to that one we talked about earlier then, the increase the transaction frequency, and we got 17.5%, but let's say we only get 5%. And we can keep doing this. We can look at all the drivers, and then what we do is we can look at cost as well. I'm just skipping forward. Then we can get to the summary page. And I don't know how well you can see this, but just by doing some little things, making some small improvements to pricing, putting in some referral systems, putting in some systems to get people to buy more frequently, we can take this business from a 710,000 business to 787. We've increased gross profit from 35% to 43.7 because we've increased prices. He's more profitable. And we've increased bottom line from 33,000 to 126,000. We've added 93,000 to bottom line profits. And it would probably be in a full meeting if I did this with Jeremy. It would be much bigger because we'd look at the other things I've skipped out on. Here's the point. Many of your clients have got, there's gold in their business. They've got a huge potential, but they don't understand what drives profit. And what we can do is we can just do some number crunching to see what drives profit and where we're going to get the biggest impact. Are we going to get the bigger impact by changing his pricing, or perhaps by putting in some referral systems, or something else? And the reason we do this analysis is A, because we're the experts in numbers. We're doing stuff that's comfortable. I know that we are uncomfortable with sales and marketing. We're just using our comfort zone, which is numbers. We understand numbers and we demonstrate what's possible. And Jeremy goes, wow, could I really go for up to 126 grand profit? Could I add nearly 100 grand? Mathematically, absolutely yes. How would I do that? Well, let me tell you about how we work with clients to help them achieve their goals. Now what you do is you pull out your nice little brochure, you walk them through your scripts to build up the value, you show them the 3 different options. So Jeremy, these are the 3 different ways we could grow, we could help you, the 3 different packages. Which of these packages do you think would be the best one, most suitable to you and your business to help you achieve those goals that you've just said you want? And we've looked at some numbers, and that might be possible in your business to get an extra 93,000 bottom line. Now what we've done is, because the client's seen what's possible, they're inspired. You've inspired them. And even if later in the process, when we reveal the price, the client doesn't buy, if nothing else, this whole process has been adding value. We've added value because we've listened to them about their goals. That helps to build up the relationship. We've shown them what's possible with the numbers, and we've given them 1 or 2 ideas. It may be you share the idea of menu pricing. It may be you share the idea of putting in some referral systems. That's hugely valuable. If nothing else, you add value to your clients. And then we're just allowed to buy. Do they want us to help them do that or not? And some will say yes and some will say no. Okay? We don't want to work with everybody. If you've got 100 clients in your firm right now, you haven't got the time to do 100 lots of business advisory. You only need 5, 10 clients to pay you a nice premium price to turn this into a highly profitable service. Okay, let's move on to where are we going next? Yes. So next we're going to look at the pricing piece, because we've got the client excited. We've now gone through our brochure that we talked about yesterday and the 3 packages. And so the client says, yes, I want that one. I want the middle package, or I want the premium package. That's what I want. So the last thing we do is talk about price. So let's talk about pricing for a bit. What are some of the things that we need to do with value pricing? Well, the first thing is to price based on value. Our price should depend upon the value. The more value we create, the higher the price. It's not based on how long we take. It's not based on what we do. The client is not buying what we do. They're not buying a management report every month. They're not buying a meeting with you every month and an accountability call. That's not what they're buying. What they're buying is an end result. They want you to help them go from here to here. That's what they're buying. And the bigger that is, the bigger the value, the price should reflect that. It doesn't matter that you only spend an hour and a half a month having a meeting with the client, half an hour printing a report and having an accountability call, 2 hours a month. It doesn't matter. It's the time's irrelevant. We are value pricing this. So some of the things we want to do with pricing is some of the things. We want to give them 3 choices. We touched on that yesterday. Okay, it's the starting point of value pricing. We give people 3 choices so they can choose the package based on their own perception of the value of each of the things in there. If, for example, you have a rolling cash flow forecast in your premium package and a client really sees the value of that, then they'll buy the premium. But the smaller client might not understand a rolling cash flow forecast and profit 3-way forecast. They don't need that. Perhaps the middle one's more suitable. The next thing we want to think about with pricing is we want to create an anchor.
Sorry, just a quick question. Somebody asked, should we be seeing your screen? Because we're not seeing anything.
Nothing at all. You should see me.
I can see you.
You should see me right now. Someone says they can't see my screen. I turned this off because we've finished. Yep. Should be just me, you see. Okay, but thanks for checking. So the next thing we want to do is create an anchor. Remember, nobody has a clue what the price of advisory should be, because your clients have never bought it before. This is something, whereas a tax return, if someone comes to buy your tax return service, they may have had a previous accountant or enrolled agent doing their tax returns. They've got kind of a reference price. But advisory, they've never bought it before. They don't know what it is. So we need to create an anchor to manage that price. And one of the anchors that we've created is exactly what Profit Diagnostic does. Okay? By showing the client what's possible using our skills with numbers, they could go from 33, was it 33 to, I've lost it now, I've changed to something else, from 33 to 126,000. That 126,000 of profit is creating an anchor in their mind, and subconsciously, and this is all subconscious, and there's been a lot of research in the last 30, 40, 50 years in price psychology that demonstrates this. This is going to make your price seem smaller because they'll compare your price to the 126,000, the anchor that we've created by playing with numbers. So we give them 3 options, bronze, silver, gold, so they can choose. We create an anchor. And the third thing we want to do at a more advanced level of pricing is giving 3 choices is great because people love choice, a bronze, silver, gold, but we can go much further with that. We can, irrespective of which package they choose, we can give them choices over, do they have monthly reports or quarterly reports? Do we meet monthly? Do we meet quarterly? We might want to give the client a choice of who they work with. And the more sophisticated we build in our pricing, the higher the prices we'll get. So what I'm going to do in a little while is bring that all together with another little demonstration and walk you through some more things around pricing and start to show you some of the other questions you'll want to ask, some of the things you want to offer the client and how you'll build up your pricing. So that's where we're going to go next. Before we do that and dive into the pricing and get really practical, I have a couple of questions. First question is, has it been valuable so far? If it has, whether you're on Facebook or whether you're on YouTube, there's that thumbs up like button. Please hit the like button if you've had some value so far. We've got loads more to cover, and I've got your questions to answer, so we're not finished yet, but that'll let me know whether or not you're finding value in what I'm talking about. And also I'd love to know as well, perhaps in the comments box, what has been the best thing you've learned so far? Has there been something there you're thinking, wow, I want to do that. That's important. What's the best thing you've learned so far? And while you're doing that, what I want to do is quickly remind you of some of the things we're going to do in the How to Profit from Business Advisory program, and more so the Value Pricing Academy, because we had lots of questions yesterday. Michelle, I know, got a bit confused, so hopefully I can deal with that a little bit. So I said to you that we have opened up the How to Profit from Business Advisory course, which starts on Monday. And then so we close registrations, but you have a second alternative, and you may remember I showed this slide yesterday. If you want to do the How to Profit from Business Advisory, then it's a single payment of just $2,000, but that depends on your currency. When you go to the website, you'll be able to see whichever currency is best for you. Okay, so it's and what we do is it's a 6-month program that we'll work together through. It's all video based, it's all resources. Or your alternative option is you could join the Value Pricing Academy, where we give you access to the course. Now, if you're thinking of buying the course, think of it this way. You only have to win one client doing business advisory, and that's paid for the entire course. Because you should be charging, and we'll look at the specific prices in a short while, so we're going to get to price in more depth very soon, but you should be getting $300-400 a month for advisory work. This is highly valuable. I'm going to show you in a second how you come up with the price. But if you're interested in the advisory, I'm just going to switch across for a second, then Emily's going to put in the comments box the link for you to go to. You'll see there's 4 days left, and it looks like this. It talks about the two options. I'll come on to that in a second, but if you scroll down the page, you can watch a little video from me if you want to, where I talk about the How to Profit from Business Advisory course in a bit more detail. Feel free to watch that. And then I walk you through as well. You'll see what you learn across those 16 hours of video training, what we cover. You'll also see there's a huge number of resources you get. You get some Excel models, you get some workbooks. So I'm not going to go through it all in detail right now because I want to get into teaching you some more stuff. I just want you to be aware that if you want the detail, if you want to know what you get, exactly what you get, Emily's putting the link into the page, and you can just click on that and see, you can see exactly what you are going to get. Now, I mentioned to you, as you know, there are actually two choices, because you could join the Value Pricing Academy. If you join the Value Pricing Academy, then we give you a copy of that course. It unlocks on Monday, and so you can get that as part of the Value Pricing Academy. But what else do you get? Well, if you go to that page that I just showed you, the link that Emily will give you, is you'll find that if you just want the course, you don't want to be part of the Value Pricing Academy, you just want the training course, then if you click on the left-hand button that says Give It To Me, that then just shows you what the price is in your local currency. But if you click on the other one, that tells you what you get as part of the Value Pricing Academy. So I want to focus on that today. We've talked a lot about the How to Profit from Business Advisory course, and if that's for you, it's $2,000 or the equivalent in your currency. But if you want to join the Value Pricing Academy, you get so much more. So go and have a look at the website. You'll see that, again, there's a video from me talking you through, but I just want to fast forward. I'm not going through this now because you can read all of this. I want you to be aware that it's here. Just go and click on the link, save that page somewhere, and you'll see exactly what you will get. And I'm going to just share with you a few of those things and just describe them. Let me just go back to here. So one of the things that you get, I didn't mention yesterday, but this is really important. My goal is this. For people in the Value Pricing Academy, my goal is to help you to achieve what you want out of your life. And so what we do is we start off for the first 6 months with structured training. It's a program called how to build an extraordinary accounting firm. It starts on Monday. It's video-based training with resources. You get videos from me, and what we start off in the first month, I get you to start thinking about your own strategy. And this is really important because if you're going to do business advisory, if you're going to work with your clients with advisory, you need to make sure you treat your business, your firm, as your number one client, and you do this stuff yourself. You must do your stuff yourself because you can't say to the client, what's your goals? It's really important to set your goals. If they then turn around and say, well, do you do this yourself? No, actually, we're just winging it. We're making it up as we go along. So what I do is I teach you a process that I've been using for myself in my own business for 15 years now. I call it from vision to plan. It's a process that I walk you through for how you create your vision and how you build your strategy and how you use that to help you plan out every single week. We work backwards. And as part of that, I talk to you about the importance of thinking about your marketing strategy and your pricing strategy. So we go deep on strategy. So by the end of the first month of the training, you have complete clarity over where you're trying to go with your firm and the strategy you need to do to get there, the marketing strategy. Then what we do in month 2 is we look at the foundations of value pricing. So whilst we do that throughout the whole of the Value Pricing Academy, we really focus on what are the core foundations so that when you join me on the live sessions every month, you're already clear of the foundations and the things you need to put in place, like menu pricing, for example. In month 3, we look at your pricing system. That's where we start to work together and I help you to get the best out of the effective pricing software. We'll look at that later. Once you've got your pricing right, then it's time to start winning more customers. And the order is really important. Don't start trying to grow your firm if you've got the wrong pricing. Because winning more clients, if you're finding you're working crazy hard right now and not making enough money, the biggest reason is because you're pricing wrong, because your price is too low. So going out and winning more customers, more clients, when your pricing's wrong, will just make you busier and busier and busier. Okay, and that's not where we want to get to. We want to start to live our lives. So in month 4, once we've got the pricing sorted, I teach you then processes for how you build up your list, how you build up a prospect database, a prospect list, and we look at all the strategies for doing exactly that. And then in month 5 in the training, we then look at having built that list, what do we do? Well, we want to build an appointment generation system. I walk you through the process that you want to do to automate the process of getting high quality appointments, having great meetings with the right people so you're not wasting your time. And to do that, you need to know what the marketing strategy is, which is month 1, and you need to put the system in place to do that. We talk you and walk you through that system so that by the end of 6 months, you have got the foundations in place for building an extraordinary firm. You've got to get your strategy right, your pricing right, and then have systems for growing your firm on autopilot. That's the lead generation system and the appointment generation system. Marketing is so important to systemize it and automate it. So we do that through that program you get over the first 6 months of. So you get that course as well as the advisory course. Then you have the live training with me, and one of those is Marketing Mondays. Your first session will be on this Monday coming. Marketing Mondays, once a month. We look at things like this Monday coming is how to build a great website. And I talk about the mistakes that people make with their websites and how to build a great one. But we look at many other topics. This is just a screenshot from that the link you can click on. You can go through and you can read all about the different sort of topics and things that we cover in Marketing Mondays. So if you want to grow your firm, we've got you covered. We cover it once a month in the Value Pricing Academy. Once a month on Tuesday, you get access to the extraordinary Teresa Slack, who runs an amazing multi-award-winning business, bookkeeping business over in Canada. Some of you, if you were here early, might have seen, tomorrow morning, I think it's tomorrow, we have a little video of Teresa, if it wasn't today, I think it's tomorrow. You want to catch that. Extraordinary what she's done with it. She joined my program and had some amazing results with what she did with pricing. But where she's a real genius is Teresa is really, like most bookkeepers and accountants, she's extremely systematic in her thinking. So she walks Academy through members every month through systems, like onboarding systems, how to onboard clients, systems for getting great team members. All these systems, she creates the systems for you, and then she teaches them to you and shares them. So they're once a month on a Tuesday. Foundation Wednesdays with me. Once a month on Wednesday, I go deep for 90 minutes on one of the foundations. So over the course of a year, you'll build up all the foundations of value pricing. On a Thursday, we have How To Thursday. That's where I then make it really practical. So we work together and I've created all the brochures for you, all the words you need for how to price forecasting, bookkeeping, payroll, tax returns, whatever it might well be. Over the years, I've spent hours creating the systems, the resources, how you price all the core services of accounting firms. And so whatever you offer, if you do cleanup work, you'll be getting better prices with cleanup work. If you do tax returns, I'll share with you the systems to get higher prices with tax returns. So that's the core live training that you get with me and Teresa. There are some other trainings as well that we get from time to time. But then we also have some bonuses for when you join the Value Pricing Academy. So in a little while, I'll tell you about the effective pricing software, which you can buy. And others would pay £2,940 per year. Sorry, that's the dollar price, dollars per year. We just give this to you in the Value Pricing Academy. We introduced it last year. I wanted to add more value last year because of COVID and the challenges that people were having. I made sure that last year was a year I just gave stuff away to my Academy members. And one of those was the software. You also get the How to Profit in Business Advisory. You know that because we've talked about that. You get that as well. That's a 6-month training program. You also, that profit diagnostic software I've showed you, and it also does graphs and reports and charts. That's free to Value Pricing Academy members. And before you say, Mark, I just want to buy it. You can't buy it. We decided not to sell it because it's too valuable. We make it exclusive. You can only have it in the Value Pricing Academy. This is the tool which will help you to add value and sell advisory work. Okay, that's for Profit Diagnostic. We also have another training course I've not mentioned at all yet, but it's a 6-month training course on how to price bookkeeping. And we go really deep on that because that's one of the core services of accounting firms and particularly bookkeeping firms, obviously. And then we also have something brand new you get as a bonus called the Online Live Academy. I'm going to tell you about that tomorrow. Okay, that's something this one thing, coupled with the business advisory, is going to take the potential for your firm to a completely new level. More on that tomorrow. I'll talk about that and how to build a business club with your advisory knowledge and services. So that's just a refresher of some of the things you get in the Value Pricing Academy. We'll talk about some of those things more tomorrow. But if there's anything if you've got questions, stick them in the questions box and I'll answer them. And as I said yesterday, if you join in the next 24 hours, the Value Pricing Academy, we also got some bonuses. If you're an action taker and you join in the next 24 hours, we'll also send you a complimentary free copy straight away of my training program, The Complete Guide to Menu Pricing, where I'll walk you through that 7-step framework from yesterday in much more detail with examples. There's also a session I'm running on the 3rd of June with Jim Rayner, where we'll teach you everything you need to know about Profit Diagnostic, the software, and I'll be teaching you some more of those scripts of what to say when you're talking to a client to get them excited. So that's going to be June the 3rd. It's a live session with me and Jim that you'll get if you want to join us this week. There's also, we'll send you there's a resource in the training called 101 Ways to Increase Your Client's Profits. So if you're thinking to yourself, I love that case study about how, and the idea and the numbers, that if I just simply increase the average number of times a customer buys from 5.2 to 6.11, wow, that would double profits. But I have no idea what sort of tips and advice I could give people. Well, what I've done is I've got you covered because there's a comprehensive training and resource on dozens of ideas, well, 101 ideas, but dozens across all different drivers of ideas of things that work that you could share with your clients. So you become the expert in helping people grow their business. And if you join this week, I'm going to send you a starting point of that particular resource. Not the full resource, but some ideas to get you started so you can get up and running with Profit Diagnostic and the advice and the conversation straight away. And finally, the fourth bonus, if you join this week, is I have a very special session on Friday where it's for Value Pricing Academy members, where I talk about, there's a 50-page resource. It's brand new. Nobody's seen it before. I'm going to unveil it on Friday, a 50-page resource, and I'm going to teach you and train you the scripts, the words, the process for pricing brand new clients. And we'll look at whether you should have 1 meeting, 2 meetings, or 3 meetings, the whole process with agendas, scripts for getting much better prices and signing up brand new clients. That's this Friday. It's a special pre-launch session because it will be turned into training at some point later this year for the Value Pricing Academy, but you get the opportunity to be one of the first to access the training and the 50-page workbook. Okay, let me quickly, before we then move on to the next bit, let me just talk about some of the events coming up, because there's so much stuff coming up when you join the Value Pricing Academy, and I don't want you to miss these at all. So this Friday is that bonus session I mentioned. On Monday, and all of these are 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, with one exception. On Monday is Marketing Monday. So if you want to join me live, I'm going to be teaching how to create a brilliant website. Then at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard on Monday, so straight afterwards, is the kickoff session. This is where I welcome new members. This is where Sarah and I will tell you how to access things, answer your questions, tell you where to get hold of the software, all the other things you need to know, so you you know where everything is. On Wednesday is my Foundation Wednesday session, and it's my most popular one of the year. It's how to reprice existing clients. And this is the most popular because it will get you fast results. I'll teach you my process for how people have increased their average price across their entire firm by 20% without losing clients, which sometimes can double profits. On Thursday, we're looking at how to price annual financial statements of next week. And then Friday, because it's kickoff week, on Friday there's Meet the Team. It's a fun session where you can ask those awkward questions of Sarah and Emily, pick their brains, find out their dirty secrets. You can ask them any question you want, and you'll just get to meet them and find out how they support you. The following week, Tuesday, May 25, is Teresa's session, where she'll be teaching creating recurring systems for your business. May 26, how to build an online mentoring group. Tell you more about it tomorrow. That's really exciting, that one. And then June the 3rd is that bonus session I mentioned just now, where we'll talk about the profit diagnostic software. Okay. Let's then, before we get into Q&A, I want to then wrap up the piece with the pricing. So how to come up with the price? We've had the profit diagnostic review. We've asked questions. We've inspired the client. They want to get those results. That extra $93,000 in profit would be awesome. They're so excited. You've gone through and built up the value with your brochure. You've offered them 3 choices. We just have to agree the price. So one of the ways that you can agree at the price is to create a pricing system. And one of the pricing systems that you could use is, and I'm just going to hit the sign out button. So one of the things you could do is use effective pricing. So I'm going to show you how you could use it for pricing advisory work. So let me just hop across to here it is. So this is effective pricing. It's the software that's designed for you to sit down with the client and involve them in the pricing process. This, by the way, is what it looks like with the out of the box with the effective pricing logo. But one thing that people don't always realize is you can brand it yourself. You can change all the colors and everything and make the software yours. You can also price pretty much anything. So this is my demo version with models for pricing, bookkeeping, forecasting, business advisory, of course, cleanup work, and so on. You can price pretty much anything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move across to this version just to show you that you can brand it and make it yours. So when you're sat in front of a client, it looks like your software. So imagine you are called Red House Consulting, doing consulting work, advisory work. And I've set this up with a handful of models. The Facebook domination, if you're just wondering what the heck that is, ignore that. But what some people at an advanced level use is they then make money out of helping their clients with pricing, and you can create versions of the software for your clients. That's for another day, not for now. That's something that I'll tell you about some other time. But let's imagine I'm with Jeremy, the water jet cutting business. And so he wants to know the price for business advisory. So what happens is we go into our advisory. I will pick Jeremy's business. And what we now do is we ask a series of questions. Some of those questions will be scope questions to identify the scope of the work for us, and some will be choices, preferences. Preferences are so important. So let me show you some of the questions that you might want to ask in coming up with your pricing model. Now, question number one is, and there's a pop-up box, what is the annual profit improvement for your business? Okay, you don't have to do this, by the way, with the software. You can change all the questions, but this is what I would do. I would put in what we've just found from the profit diagnostic software. It was near enough $93,000. Okay, because we're value pricing. If you meet with 2 clients in a day and you go through profit diagnostic, and one of them's a small business and you could help them go from 10 to 50,000 in profits, add an extra 40 grand on. The other one's a big business. You can help them go from $1 million to 2 million. There's more value in the second one. So we should charge a higher price. So that's why I would suggest one of the things you want to build into your pricing is, what's the potential? What's the potential? Now, another question we might ask is, so what accounting system are they on? Because remember, you're going to be creating management reports. And if they're on something like your preferred system, like QBO, then you might set up, because if you're a QBO Pro Advisor, for example, then you might set up in QBO some customized reports, and you know it's really easy that if they're using QBO, perhaps you're doing their bookkeeping, it's really easy. Touch a button, press a button, it brings out accurate reports. But if they're on something like a spreadsheet system, hopefully not too many of your clients are these days, in the world of the cloud, but if they are on some system that's a bad system, you can't create reports, very useful reports out of the spreadsheet. You're going to have to do all sorts of extra work. There's more scope. It's harder for you. So if they're on that, you charge a higher price. And by the way, in the software, you can create whatever list you want of different accounting systems. Assuming you're not a bookkeeper, or assuming you're not doing the bookkeeping, you could ask them, you could find out what's the quality of the bookkeeping. Because if they're not doing proper books and records, how can you produce accurate information if they're not reconciling their bank account? So you might want to ask that as part of your discovery. Of course, if you're doing the bookkeeping, hopefully it's perfect. But it may be that you've identified that the bookkeeping's okay, it's good, it's just not great. You might want to change the price based on the industry. So Jeremy's in the construction industry, construction and engineering. We might want to ask them, how frequently do you want the management reports? Most people would be monthly. I'd say to Jeremy, I recommend once a month is the best frequency. I agree. And we recommend we meet once a month. So Jeremy, how would you like to meet? Because if you want, we can meet in our boardroom, or we can come and travel to you if you want every month. What would you prefer? Oh, if you could travel to me, that would be awesome. Now, by giving people a choice like that, they're expressing what they value. If they say they want you to travel to their premises, that means they value you going to their premises. So guess what happens to your price? It's going up. It's going up. Here's another question you might ask. You might ask them, Jeremy, I know you're not quite sure about the bookkeeping you're doing. Would you like us to as well review your bank reconciliations just to make sure they're right? Yes, please, that would be great. We can do specific industry reports for your engineering business. Would you like that? Yes, please. So we give people choices. Let me move on just quickly. We might ask, here's another great question. So Jeremy, when you have those monthly meetings, would you like those meetings to review your numbers? Would you like them to be with me or one of my team? Now, you know what the answer is. They always want to work with you. They want to work with you. If you're the senior partner, for example, the owner of the business, they want to work with you. Why? Because they value working with you. Great. If they value working with you, we charge a higher price. If they say they want to work with you rather than your assistant, rather than Fred, your manager, then that means they value working with you, and the price changes accordingly. You'll see why that's important in a second. So what we then do is we now can go to the page where we remind them what's in the different packages. And Jeremy said that he really wants the premium reporting. He wants the premium. So now we just reveal the price. The price is 12 payments of $2,480. Now you might be falling off your seat right now. Perhaps Jeremy is as well. Not a problem. Because there's something really important that's going on right now with the psychology, anchoring. Jeremy wants to buy. You would not have got to this point if the client didn't want to buy. Jeremy wants to buy your premium service. The only issue now is the price. He has no idea what the price will be. It's $2,480 every single month. Only one or two things can happen. Client says yes or no. If they say yes, you're really happy because you've just made a really good sale, 25 grand odd, 30 grand client. But if they say no, what we now know, what we've learned, is what is the price that's too high. So we can now change things. If he says, I can't afford 2,480, we could say, for example, well, the reason it's that price, Jeremy, is because you want to work with me every month. And that's fine, you can do that. But my assistant, Fred, actually specializes in the engineering business. I can bring Fred in and you can meet him. I'll introduce you to Fred. He's great. My clients love working with Fred. All those in the engineering business like you are there. Would you like to see what difference it makes to the price? Of course, the client wants to see. So we change to Fred. Let's imagine that's Fred. We hit save and continue. It recalculates. It's now $1,860. Now that might still be too high, but remember, Jeremy has no idea what the price should be. You've showed him 2,480. That's created an anchor. So in comparison to 2,480, 1,860 feels like, that's a bit better. It's still a bit expensive though. No problem. We change something else. So we go back through all the things that might be preferences, choices. And so let me pick something else. And what I would do is change one thing at a time and pick on the things that the client was least sure about. So you might say you wanted to travel to your offices, but actually if your budget's a bit tight, one of the things we could do is we could just meet online. Yeah, let's meet online. And Jeremy, this is what we can do. We can meet online for the next 3 months. And then if you want to, you can upgrade. You can always change. Okay, what would it be if we meet online? Well, if we do that, it's only 1,700 a month. And we can keep going backwards and forwards. We can change things. We could change it so that, I'll just pick a few things, that we don't review their bank reconciliations. We don't create in-specific reports. Let's take some of these out of the shopping basket. And we can keep going until the client says yes. So we're now down to 1,000. We start with 2,400. We're down to 1,230. If that's too high, there's still the full report in the middle option. He could drop to the middle one at 595. There's a very good chance he will. Remember I said to you, you should be getting between 300 and 400 minimum. This is how you get great prices. You start high, you create anchors, you involve the client in the pricing process until they say yes. But what if even 457 is too expensive? Well, we can do all sorts of things still. We could offer what's called a behavior reward, which you don't have to if you don't want to, but you could reduce the price if they give you referrals. Or if he pays you a year up front, you give them 20% off, or whatever it might well be. You could change things until they say yes. Okay, I'm going to leave that for now. We could also, this is an advanced tip, but even if the cheapest one is too expensive, we could have a hidden one up our sleeve, a fourth option, a light option, 12 payments of 341. But let's imagine the client's happy with the middle one. Jeremy wants 12 payments of 595 because he started with 2,400. Yeah, 595, let's start there. Great, you've made a sale. That's not the end of the process, because then what you want to do when the client buys is you offer other things. You have an upsell process. You offer some other things the client might want. The client might have wanted premium because they love the idea of the rolling cash flow and profit forecast that's in premium, but they can't afford premium. So that one feature you could offer separately. And that's only 861, Jeremy, rather than the 1,800 you saw earlier. Do you know what? Bundle that in as well. Have that as well, please. Okay, we're going to 861. Upsells are so powerful. Okay, let's just move on quickly. I want to show you one more thing. You can then negotiate the payment term. You can have an upfront payment, back-end payment. Let's imagine that we've done all that. And the client's happy. You just made an $861 a month sale. Okay? Now, the client now leaves. Okay, the client leaves the office. And what you will probably do straight afterwards is create a proposal. So I'm going to pick a particular template, my fixed price agreement template, which I'm going to call consulting this particular project with Jeremy. Hit save and continue. And what we can now do is we can produce a professional looking brochure really quickly. I can edit it if I want to. I can go through the various pages and change it. But actually I'm happy. I know I'm happy with this. So I hit save and continue. And it's just chunking through the software and pulling together all the various bits of information. And now you can see, here's my proposal for Jeremy's water cutting business, the proposal. And I've got it tells him reminds him of the price, $861. And then what it does is it has appendices, so that it's agreed in writing how they answered the questions, all those things he said he wanted and didn't want. We can also agree what's in the package that he's bought. He's bought the middle package. He gets to see that. He gets to see what other things he said yes and no to. He said yes to the rolling cash flow forecast, but he declined the other things. So we've got complete clarity over the arrangement, and then we just send that off, and the client can then sign it. And that's it, all job done. That's the whole process of how you win and sell consulting work. We have a profit diagnostic review that's designed to add value more than anything. We add value by asking some questions, we play with some numbers, we show them what's possible in their business, we share a couple of ideas to add value, we inspire them so they think, wow, I want that. Then what we do is we build the value with our brochure, with the words that we say when we talk about our different options, and then we capture the value by involving the client in the pricing process. So they're in control. They get to choose effectively the price. They're choosing the exact package they want. That's how accounting firms I'm working with are getting extraordinary prices for doing accounting services such as business advisory. So we're going to go to questions next. Before we do that, let me just remind you what's coming tomorrow. And if you have found this valuable, then please remember, if you could just make sure you've hit that thumbs up button so I know that it's valuable. So we've covered today how to sell advisory work without uncomfortable selling. So you're feeling better about this. You don't have to do anything technique-y. We're just adding value and then using the tools that we've got. And I've shown you how to calculate a highly profitable value-based price. Remember that software, the pro version of that, you get for free as part of the Value Pricing Academy. You can buy it if you want, and let me just say, if you decide you want to buy the software, then you can go down that route. If you buy the software, then the pro version is $245 per month if you want to buy the software on its own, but it's not much more expensive to join the Value Pricing Academy. So my advice is, don't buy the software, join the Academy, because I'll then work with you and teach you value pricing and how to use it. Where was I? Oh yes, finally, let me just go back to here. Tomorrow we look at how do we do advisory. Once the client says yes, how do we do it? And we'll look at some techniques, processes that you can do for you to be confident delivering the work with a client once they say yes. And then what we'll also do tomorrow is look at the marketing piece. How can you now use this to win more clients? How can you grow your firm through marketing? That's tomorrow's session. We'll look at, and one thing in particular I'm excited by is how you could then build a business club. And there's some really extraordinary opportunities for you with really scaling your business and generating a significant new revenue stream for your firm. That's tomorrow, so make sure you don't miss out on tomorrow. Come and join me live. We're going to deal with questions now. I'm just going to grab some water if that's okay, because I've been talking for a long time. Voice is starting to go, and I've still got tomorrow to get through. Okay, let me, I'm going to scroll back because I'm just going through the chat box right now. Forgive me, it might take me a while to see where I got to. I know I starred some earlier. If I can find it, found it. Okay, so where do we get to? Sybil says clean water around the world is important for sure. We have, I'm looking for, so Anju says, would love to learn more about B1G1. Yeah, I'm happy. If you ask in the Facebook group, we'll point you in the right direction with that. It's an amazing organisation that's making a difference to the world, and it's Paul Dunn, who's one of my heroes, one of my mentors. Paul Dunn is the person that champions it, and also Steve Pipe is very much involved in it. So I'll tell you more sometime on that. Okay, I'm looking for QQs. QQ. Okay, here's a question. I think what is it? Andrew says, the part I really liked from yesterday's meeting was details of actual implementation of the advisory series, tasks involved. Does the Academy go deeper into, oops, I've lost it. Does the Academy go deeper into that? My background is in tax, but would like to add this to my practice. Yes, my background was tax as well. If you remember my story yesterday, after I qualified as a chartered accountant, I spent 2 years in a multi-partner firm in their income tax department. I then became their corporation tax manager. And then when I started my own accounting firm in '96, my focus was tax. It wasn't until I met Steve Pipe in November 98 that he opened my eyes up to the idea that we can actually do consulting work, advisory work. And one of the things that I will be teaching you in the training is exactly how, and tomorrow we'll touch on it as well, how do you do it? How do you do it? And you can do this. You absolutely can. We sometimes think this is, sometimes we think, if we're going to help our clients grow their business, we have to suddenly become marketing experts. But one of the things that Steve taught me once was that what marketing experts do is they teach you the CTSD. What we do is we teach the SSTW, the simple stuff that works. The marketing experts teach the CTSD, the CSTD, the complicated stuff that doesn't work. I think I've got my numbers, the initials the wrong way around. But in other words, what I'm saying is that we could sit down with a client and do a brand building exercise and market research, all that complex stuff. But for the most small businesses, the things that has the biggest impact on their business is simple things. Putting in a referral system can have a huge impact. So I'll talk a lot about that during the training, Andrew. I'll give you the support and the help you need, and so you're confident with delivering. And I'll tell you more tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll go into that. Okay, Michelle, who's probably going to have a lot of questions, which is cool, Michelle. I'm happy with that. If I skip over your comment, it's because there were no QQs. Michelle said, will the VPA program help me find a niche? Will the VPA program help me attract the right clients? So Michelle, I mentioned, and I know you asked this question a long time ago now, that training program that starts on Monday, which is how to build an extraordinary accounting firm, in the marketing or the strategy part in month 1, we go deep into your strategy and marketing strategy. And part of that is all about being really clear about who is your ideal client. And we talk about niching. So if you take, for example, and you'll get to meet Teresa Slack, this extraordinary bookkeeper over in Canada, she's built a virtual bookkeeping business and she specializes in e-commerce. And it's a brilliant business, and she will probably talk about that in her sessions, why she specializes in that. We have a wonderful accountant from the UK called Aaron McLeish up in Sheffield in the UK, and we had him as a guest expert in one of our recent sessions. I think the recording's still available. He's doing some extraordinary stuff, and he deals with, his niche is the plumbing industry, which is a really interesting one. Another person in the academy called Rennie Evans, who's in Cornwall. Rennie's usually here, actually, so he's probably here. He has a business that's focused on manufacturing and engineering, and that's his niche. So lots of people in the academy are niching because that's so powerful, Michelle, and yes, I will help you with that. And the second question, will that help me attract the right clients? Yes, because that's part of that marketing strategy. And then through Marketing Mondays once a month, niching and having an ideal client focus is really important. We'll talk a lot about things like, what is your positioning statement? I share with you a process for building your positioning statement and then using that everywhere on your website and everywhere else. Okay, Martha says, stop working for free. Most of us do. We need to stop doing that. We're throwing away lots of money by doing that. More questions from Michelle. Will the program help me increase my firm's recurring revenue? Yes, particularly when you come and listen to the session coming up soon. Tomorrow's session. I'm going to talk about something, and then we're running a session about 2 weeks' time on how to build a business club, for example. That's a powerful way to create recurring revenue. Where can we see the schedule of the VPA, i.e. classes, live days, and time per week? Okay, one of the things we have is we use Trello a lot in our business. We have a public Trello board with all of the curriculum, and you get a link to that when you join the academy. But I believe that we can show you that. So I think, Michelle, we can dig that out and show you the link so you can see the things coming up. Right, let me scroll through, find some more people. I can see that Alan Brown from the UK is starting to pull together his packages and start promoting them. Tom Stocker says he's a note taker but rapidly becoming an action taker. So awesome, Tom. Sarah Lewin's going to change from hourly to value pricing. I'm still scrolling through looking for questions. If I miss your comments, I apologise. Colleen says, question from Colleen. I have trouble getting clients to move away from hourly billing. How do you educate clients that value pricing is the better way? Okay, it's a question I get quite a lot, Colleen, and one of the things in the Value Pricing Academy, I'll give you the words and the scripts to use. Words are so important, but essentially what you want to do is explain what's the problem of hourly billing. So you might say something like this. We've been talking to our clients, and our clients have said they hate the way the profession prices based on the hour. And that's because when we ask them, the reason why is because it means they can't plan, they can't budget. And that is the problem with hourly billing, is that you don't know what the price is till we finish the work. Now, if you want us to price that way, we can do. But all of our other clients want us to give them a fixed price up front. So that's what we do. We give you a fixed price, and we even go further, we give you a choice. We give you choices because we know that there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all solution. So if you want, we can go through the different options and you can pick the one that's just right for you. Of course, if you want to pick the hourly billing, you can do, but we don't recommend it. Nobody else wants that, because we can't give you you don't know what the price is till the job's finished. Normally I word that better, Colleen, on a VPA session, but I hope you get the gist. It's about having a script, having the words to communicate the problems with hourly billing, why it's bad for them, and the benefits of moving to fixed pricing. And then you want to use this thing I mentioned yesterday about social proof. You say things like, our clients hate the way that the profession prices based on the hour. All our other clients, they've asked for us to give them a fixed price up front. So that's why we've changed that way, because that creates social proof, and that's really powerful. Okay, let's move on to some more questions. Debbie says, how much of the training spends time teaching what to advise clients, not just what reports to pull, but how to analyze data and interpret them and advise? Some of what you show is beyond me. Okay. So in the training, I mentioned there's 16 hours of training. So we're only really, over these 3 days, we've only got a few hours together. When I go into the training, we go into much more detail on all of those things. And so we look at, for example, we touched yesterday on ratio analysis. We look at lots more ratios, a bigger case study. So if that Jeremy's water cutting one has started to help you to see things, the bigger case study will go deeper still, and suddenly some light bulbs will go on. I teach you things like the 101 ways to increase profits and give you ideas. There's video training to go with that. Now, if you join the Value Pricing Academy, you also get access to me every single month, 5 times a month. And the thing about being in the Value Pricing Academy and live sessions, as you know today, is the great thing about live sessions is I'll answer your questions. And my goal with the Academy is to help you build the firm you want, to help you build the life you want, to help you to be successful. I've failed if I haven't helped you to get results. And so what I do in the live sessions, I answer your questions, even if it's not the topic of that particular session. If we're doing a session on menu pricing, you have a question about business advisory, just ask. Just ask me. The live sessions, I'm here to help you. So if you're struggling with applying some of the advisory and you need help, let me know. Also, and I can't tell you too much right now because I'm in the negotiation stages, but we may well have sometime soon another trainer on board who's an expert in this stuff, even much more than I am. He lives and breathes it. And so there's help. You will find there's help, Debbie, in the community. Okay, next question is also, Debbie, a lot of services now ask us to offer CFO services. Will this be like similar? Yeah, in my view, a CFO service, a CFO is, in the UK, you might call it a virtual FD, virtual finance director, virtual CFO. A lot of CFO, FD is kind of that high level stuff that you would also do in advisory. So absolutely, I would, if I was building a CFO service, a virtual CFO service, a lot of that service will be very similar. Will be a lot of the stuff around the numbers, looking at the numbers every single month, sitting on the client's board meeting to help them understand the numbers and help them to come up with the action plan every month and focus on the right things. So absolutely. Okay, next question I'm looking for. Isn't it? I'm just Phil, Phil, I think is in the Value Pricing Academy, says, I just started charging a $50 appointment fee to avoid Those that book appointments then don't show up. I credit the $50 against the initial appointment fee. So one of the things I teach in the Value Pricing Academy as part of that appointment generation system is you should be charging for your initial consultations. There's a reason for that. Many people in the VPA are starting to do it now, and just like Philip is saying, this is working now, this is what I do, I charge for the meeting. There's reasons why you do it, which I'll talk about, I teach you as part of the academy. Let's stop, someone said earlier, let's stop doing stuff for free. Let's stop doing valuable stuff for free. Okay, let me see what other questions. Okay, Debbie Long again says, what do you think of the Profit First model? Profit First is Mike Mikhailovich over in the US, a friend of mine, Mike. I've been on stage with him a few times. Mike's a great guy, and I've read, he has a number of books, as you know, one of which is Profit First. I read Profit First, and I thought that it's a great book. It's a great book. It's a great, I think, starting level with advisory. I'd certainly recommend reading the book. I don't know the Profit First model in absolute detail beyond the book itself, but the general concept makes perfect sense to me. And I noticed my good friend Gabrielle Hi there, Gabrielle. Good to see you. I think Gabrielle probably knows more about Profit First than I do. We had that in mind, Gabrielle. We were going to actually contact through LinkedIn, social media. But anyway, hope you're well, Gabrielle. Good to see you. Right, let's get through to another question. Because I get distracted. I'm like a squirrel on caffeine. I get distracted really easily. Right. Christina Roberts, is the profit diagnostic part of VPA? Yes, it is. What if you cancel a VPA? What happens with the software? So with the VPA, you get a lot of stuff, as you know, and you can get to use everything for the duration of your membership. If you decide to stop paying, then you don't get access to those things. Now, a lot of the things that you will get access to while you are paying will be workbooks, resources, brochures, knowledge, all that stuff you get to keep forever. But the software, you won't be able to use the profit diagnostic software because that is exclusive. But what you'll find is if the profit diagnostic is really working for you and you're getting huge value from the Value Pricing Academy, then you probably wouldn't leave. If you're not getting value, then you could, once you use the profit diagnostic, you could create an Excel spreadsheet. It's possible. It was originally an Excel spreadsheet when I wrote it originally back in 1999 in my accounting firm. What are the three primary growth drivers? So they were the three primary ones. There's actually 5 in total, which are in the profit diagnostic software. But the 3 main ones are how many customers, how much they spend on average each month, how many times they buy how much they spend on average each time, and how many times a year do they buy. So that's that, Aldora. I hope that helps. Andrew says, how do you software calculate the impact? How do you calculate the impact? Just do the math. Okay, so when you start to build in all the profit drivers, it can get the maths does get a little bit complicated. It took me a long time to create the algorithms and the Excel spreadsheet. But at a simple level, as Aldora just said, the 3 primary growth drivers. I mean, that's really simple. It's if a business has got 10 customers, and each customer spends approximately £100 each time, and they buy once a month. That could be a membership business. Okay, so that means our sales is 10 customers spending £100 once a month. So once a month, that's 100 times 12 is 1,200. 10 customers, that's 12 grand a year. That's sales. Sales is 12 grand, and they're the 3 numbers. So if we want to increase that business, we could win more customers, but we could get them to spend more than £100 each time. That could be through cross-selling, through upselling. We could do it through pricing changes. There are dozens of strategies. Or we could get them to buy more than once a month. And there are strategies for doing that. Things like next sales scripts and a whole bunch. All these strategies that you can use are in the resource, 101 ways to grow a business. Okay, Janine says this software is so cool. Thank you for that. Anik, how is Anik? I've not seen you for a while. Please help me find where I can access the profit diagnostic tool. You need to join the Value Pricing Academy, which you may have done. Okay, so if you have joined the Value Pricing Academy or you're thinking about it, this might be, this may help you a little bit. Let me show you a couple of things, actually. So if you join the training for the Biz Advisory training, just so you know, when you join the Biz Advisory training, then you'll find over on the left-hand side, you'll see this is all the video training. This will unlock over the 6 months, and so you can see there's dozens of videos, all with resources. If you join the Value Pricing Academy, you get all that, of course. If you join the Value Pricing Academy, once you've done that, Anik, you'll get a welcome email. So you'll come to this page here, watch the video from me. That's the first thing you should do. Watch my video where I welcome you. Underneath, please read this first after you watch the video. And we'll also tell you a lot of this stuff in the Kickstart session on Monday. But if you can't wait till Monday, read this. And then over on the left-hand side, once you've read that, you'll understand where everything is. And so what you'll find, Anik, is in the important announcements, there is a post that says how to register your free copy of the Profit Diagnostic software. So it's all there. If you join the Value Pricing Academy now, and remember in the next 24 hours, you can still claim your bonuses. If you join it now, you can get started straight away. You can start playing around. You can start playing with the software if you want. You don't have to wait till Monday for the kickoff session to get started. Okay, that was Anik's question. Let's find some more questions. Millions and millions of comments. Beverly, what does Beverly say? Beverly Gunn says, it could be for Sarah, this one actually. Okay, so Beverly enrolled in the online live academy, the brand new thing just a couple of months ago. And actually, Beverly, many people have, just like you, now want to move to Value Pricing Academy. Yeah, Sarah will walk you through it, but essentially, if you're subscribing now to the online live academy and you want to now join the Value Pricing Academy, we don't want you paying twice for stuff, so don't worry. We will show you how to stop the payments for the online live academy, and you won't lose anything whatsoever. So we've got you covered, Beverly, and Sarah will help you out if you're struggling with that. She's probably already answered it anyway. Okay, Elzeet. Elzeet says, how do we move from Bookkeepers Price Academy to Value Price Academy? I'm not going to answer any questions about moving from the online live academy or the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy, because Sarah will get you sorted with that. Okay, she's probably already done that in the comments box. So just read the comments or reach out to Sarah and she'll get you sorted if you're upgrading. Sarah Lewin says, so valuable. Thank you for that feedback. Nancy's excited about learning the Profit Diagnostics software. There's lots of thumbs up. Elnise says it looks awesome. Thank you, Elnise. Questions. I'm looking for the QQs. QQs, come on, QQs. Let's. Lots of people saying what's the best thing they've learned. I'll read all these later. VJ says, Mark, would it be preferable to create a bespoke pricing package for each segment of clients? I think I may have answered that. So yes, there are, VJ, there's two ways that you could price. The simple way and the best way. The simple way is you could have a bronze, silver, gold. We looked at this yesterday. You could create your 3 packages, bronze, silver, gold, and you could say, right, if they buy bronze, it's $250 a month. If they buy my middle package, it's $350 a month. And if they buy the top one, it's $600 a month. And you can do that. Absolutely. You could price in that way, and it's a great place to get started. But as you've seen with effective pricing, there's a lot of psychology built in there. And one of the things that you will find is that when you involve the client in the process, when they feel a sense of ownership of coming up with the package, people spend more money. They buy more. One day I'll tell you why that works. Apple understand it really, really well. And Apple always get me to spend more money. And a lot of the processes, and Apple are probably the best company in the world with pricing. They are really, really clever with what they do. Most people have no idea what they're doing, but I do, because I teach the price psychology. And even though I know what they're doing, it gets me every single time. I always spend more money than I need to. They're just brilliant. And so a lot of stuff that Apple use in terms of the psychology, it's all built into effective pricing because it works. Okay, that was VJ's question. I love some of his comments. Cedar says, I love what you said about the client not buying what we do, but rather that they're buying the end result. And that's so true. I pulled that one up because just because I clicked on it by accident, but actually that is such a good point. Do not lose sight of that. People are not buying our time, our hours. They're buying the result. And that's what value pricing is really all about. Rob, what does Rob say? VPA being taught internationally, how easy is it to relate the accounting bookkeeping pieces to our own country? Depends on the country that you are in, of course, but what I teach is most of my customers, most people in the academy are in the US, closely followed by Canada, then the UK, then South Africa. So they're the 4 main countries that are in the academy. I don't have too many people from Australia and New Zealand. I'd love to, but all my live sessions are the middle of the night if you're in the far side of the world. So you have to watch the recordings or be someone that can't sleep at night. But basically what I teach is it's stuff that's applicable pretty much anywhere around the world. The software, the effective pricing software, for example, you can change that to your currency symbol. It works in any country. Now, if you're not in an English-speaking country, we do have some people, one person from France, for example, in the academy, or I think they're in the Bookkeepers Price Academy. I think they upgraded yesterday from France. And there are some things that you'd obviously have to translate if you're in a different country with different language. But even with the effective pricing software, all the questions and things we have people in other countries that have changed the software with the questions being asked in their country. We have someone, I think the other day was in Holland, the Netherlands, and they've got it all in Dutch. So you can apply most of what I do in any country, but particularly the English-speaking ones. Okay, there's no QQ, so I nearly missed this, but Angie says, what was the first point in the how to price your advisory services? I think the first point was give them 3 choices, the bronze, silver, gold idea we talked about in detail yesterday. Okay. Christina says, is business advisory starting on Monday? Will crash, and that means clash with the website training, or are they in different times? Christina, the business advisory training is all video based and resources. So it will unlock, the first section will unlock, but you can watch it any time. So come to the Marketing Monday because it's live. Live session is always better because you can ask your questions and so on. But the video-based training is video-based because it means you can work through at your own pace. There's new stuff released every 2 weeks. But if you get a busy week or something, you could always just put it back a few weeks and catch up when you need to. That's the benefit of the video-based training. Okay. Vidal says, can't wait to dive into this program. Need to grow to 7 figures, stuck in high 6 figures. Well, that sounds pretty impressive, 6 figures. Antoine says, is it Antoine? Is that right? Is the VPA only open once a year, or how often does it open up? Twice a year. So we close it for 6 months. So if you've got till Monday to decide, you've got 24 hours if you want the bonuses. Next 24 hours if you want the bonuses. If you're not sure, come to tomorrow's live session. That's the final chance to ask me questions. But you actually have until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard on Monday, and then we close it. And that's a hard close. There's no exceptions after that time, because then we're on to welcoming all the new members. The next time we will run it is, I forget the exact dates, but early December, Antoine. So you can wait till early December if you want to. Just bear in mind that if you wait, it will be a different price in December. And the price that you pay now is locked in. That's one of the things that people love about the Value Pricing Academy, is that I keep adding more stuff. The online live academy was just added last month, and it's been given away for free to members of the Value Pricing Academy, and they have no change in their prices. I've never, ever changed the price for existing members. So the best time to join is now, but if it's not right for whatever reason, then in 6 months, I think it's end of December. Rob says, is there a list of all these pieces and bonuses pieces, as that is quite fast? Not quite sure what you mean, but click on the link, go to the website, and the website, as I showed you on the screen, shows you everything you get as part of the How to Profit from Business Advisory and the Value Pricing Academy. The bonuses that you'll get for joining in the next 24 hours, they will go in 24 hours, and I don't know if there's anything listed those. So just go back and watch the recording. I think I covered them about 90 minutes in, 80 minutes in. Or come tomorrow, and I'll remind you tomorrow, because that's your last chance if you want the bonuses. And if you've got any questions, Rob, you're not sure about certain things, just ask. Angelica says, is that Angelica? Or Angelica? Angelica, I think it is. Sorry, it's getting late in the evening in Portugal here. If you already have the effective pricing subscription, how would that work if you join? Does it then become complimentary? Yeah, Sarah's going to sort you out. If you've already got the software, effective pricing, and you're paying for that, and you wanted to join the Value Pricing Academy, we don't want you to pay twice. Okay, I've said that a few times. We don't want you to pay twice. We'll sort it out. We'll fix it. Sarah's great at doing that and making sure that you'll then start getting the software going forward without having to pay for it. Okay, Andrew, you can't attend, I guess that means tomorrow. This Friday. This Friday, we always have recordings. This Friday, because it's a special session, it's a pre-release of a resource we're creating. We're not planning on making the recordings available, but if you join this week, and that's the reason you join, we'll see if we can help you out in some way and get that sorted. And that's really what Christina said as well. Are all these live sessions recorded in case you're unable to make them? Yes, Angelica, we record, with the exception of this Friday coming, and there's a reason for that. This Friday session is the first time I've taught this thing and created this new 50-page resource. It's going to be a part of the Value Pricing Academy that everybody will get. But I wanted to do a session on Friday where I teach it for the first time. And I just want to gauge some reaction and so on from that. But normally, Angelica, our sessions are always recorded. All the sessions are recorded. And the live sessions like Marketing Monday, we make them available for 30 days. And then we take them, and they're available for 30 days. So you've got 30 days to catch up if you miss them and download the resources to keep. We then remove them after 30 days because we don't want to overwhelm you. You see, if we left them in there, you'd have right now nearly 7 years worth of content. It would be just too confusing. And as you may have seen there's already, if I go into the website, when you join right now into the Value Pricing Academy, on the left-hand side, you will see there's all the recordings from last month's sessions. There's a whole bunch of bonus. There is so much content already available, which is why we refresh it every 30 days. And keep it fresh, because there's so much stuff going on, which means you can focus on the stuff that's most important to you. One of the things we suggest is that there's a lot of live sessions. Don't feel you have to come to all of them. I would rather people pick one session, take action, and do something. If you do something every single month, you will get results. All the teachings I do, they come around. We have curriculums. If for example, there's a session coming up on, there's a marketing session, for example, on how to use Facebook better. I don't know, I'm just picking a random example, and you're thinking, that's for another day, I'm not really into that right now. Great, pick a different one. Focus on coming to my Thursday session, because that one will come back round again. Though we also have, next is, let me just check. I think I've kind of covered that one. Are these sessions listed as part of the VPA program? Yes, I think I've covered that one since you asked the question. Let me fast forward. Sybil, that can't be right. All of our sessions, with one exception, are 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we have times that work we have times that start at 8 in the morning PST, through America, through Canada, through to 4 o'clock UK time. I'm always confused with South Africa. I think they're an hour later. So you shouldn't have a problem, Sybil, with time zones. I know that sometimes it gets a bit confusing, particularly when they change the clocks. When the clocks change in March and October, that's a pain because they change at different dates in different parts of the world. The UK is always later than the US changes. Okay. Andrew says signed up. Oh, thank you very much. I think Sybil's actually been helped out now by Sarah. Okay, let me keep going. I don't know if this could be a difficult question. For the effective pricing website, is there a way to add an accounting system that could be added for tracking and doing the books taxes for cryptocurrency users? I just recently ran into this. I'm not quite sure what you mean by the effective pricing website, but if you're talking about the effective pricing, the pricing software I showed, then it's today wasn't about doing a full demo. I was just showing how you could use it for pricing advisory, but you can change all the questions. You can change so you could have a drop-down box that says, what industry are you in? And you could add cryptocurrency. And then you might want to, if they're in cryptocurrency, because of the complications, you might decide, I'm going to charge them 20% higher prices. And you can build that into the back end. Everything is customizable. So Rob says, is VPA right for someone who has 2 large clients and wants to build with similar or smaller sized clients, but not prepared to attract the right clients? Yeah. Difficult to talk about specific circumstances because another similar question I get is, I haven't got any clients yet, I just started. Is the Value Pricing Academy right for me? My TV's about to turn off. And my answer to that is, you know better than me about where you are within your firm. But if you're brand new, just started out, then we do teach on Marketing Mondays how to attract more clients. We teach the strategy and stuff. So if you want to grow your business, then we absolutely cover that. And so yes, in that respect, VPA perhaps is right for you. Hope that helps. But if you've got specific questions about your circumstances, reach out to us. What's this one? Journey Consulting. Isn't this still a cost build-up approach based on the costs, adjusting the costs of the resources, services? I'm not sure what you mean by that, because I'm not sure when the question came in. Isn't this still a cost build? I'm going to guess that you're talking about the effective pricing software. Is it still cost build-up? And the answer is no. Let me give you an analogy. So with the software, what you do is you build in behind the scenes numbers that are based on judgment. But ultimately, the client will choose between options based on their own particular perception of the value. So an example I sometimes give is in the airline industry. The whole model was changed a couple of decades back by the low-budget airlines like EasyJet, Ryanair in Europe, where before it was just a bundle, and then they unbundled everything. So if you go to fly on something like EasyJet or Ryanair, and I'm sure it's the same equivalents over in the US and Canada, when you go to buy a flight ticket, they now offer you other things. For example, speedy boarding. Do you want speedy boarding, yes or no? And it's typically in the UK about £25 if you want to be one of the first on the plane. So my question is that cost plus pricing or value pricing? Well, it's clearly not cost plus pricing, because there's zero cost just to put an extra line to let some people on before others. There's no cost to doing that. It's value pricing. And what they're doing is those people who value being first on will pay that price. And you can guarantee what those companies have done is they've tested different price points. They've tested the price of speedy boarding to get the optimal number who pay that and optimize revenue. So in the same way, thinking about when you say something like, would you like to meet once a month with me or with my assistant? If they choose you, it's because they value you. So how much more do you build into the price? Well, that's a judgment issue. But really what you want to do, and you'll fine-tune this over time, is you'll start to find what people choose. If you decide that you inflate your price by 20%, let's say, because they want to meet with you rather than Fred every month, and you find that still everybody chooses you, then that tells you that everyone is willing to pay more than 20%. So you keep changing that in the software, in the system. You just keep changing the price based on your judgment, based on your gut feel, until you got to a stage where perhaps 50% of people choose to pay an extra 50% in price, and half now choose to work with Fred, because that gives you now the optimum combination of a premium price, but with half your customers actually choosing somebody else to free your time up. It's all about testing different prices. Nothing to do with costs. It's about testing to see what people value. What do they choose? So thank you for that question. It was a good one. Right, Colleen says, does the Bookkeeping Pricing Academy include this pricing software? Yes, Colleen, but not the pro version. It includes the middle option. The advantage of the pro version, what you get in the Value Pricing Academy in the pro version, is I've pre-written templates, models for you, like business advisory. That model I showed you in the software, you get given that model, so you can use it just as I showed you, or you can build your own, you can change it. So there's a lot more in the version of the effective pricing that VPA members get. Okay, Angelica says, does the effective pricing software automatically have these parameters set for the menu pricing, or are these features that we would enter in manually? So I think I sort of answered that. We provide you with templates that you can use. So you could use it pretty much out of the box, and some people do. And then what we do is we teach you how to tweak it and test it and change things a little bit. But it comes with some suggested prices for a whole bunch of different services. I've built models for you in the VPA for all the core accounting services: bookkeeping, payroll, forecasting, business advisory, annual financial statements, tax returns. There's probably about a dozen different pricing models pre-built. So I think I've covered you for most of the things that you would do. Hi there, Nancy. Nancy Jacobson says, if meeting with a new client wanting full CFO services where my company would be handling the bookkeeping, HR and advisory, what's the best way to do all of that in one pricing meeting? Nancy, come along on Friday. Come on Friday to the Friday session. When we talk about the process for pricing brand new clients, I will go into that in a lot more detail about what happens if clients want to buy multiple things and how you deal with that. If that's okay, I'm just looking at the time. How are we doing? 6:15. We've got a bit of time, I think. So, but my core advice would be, just to give you a quick shortened version of Friday, is when you're pricing lots of different things, advisory or CFO, but also compliance work like bookkeeping and so on, I would suggest separate pricing meetings. Do them separately. You can do them in one meeting, but it's going to be a long meeting. And as long as the client's happy with that and you've managed their expectations and you've agreed it, then you can do it in one meeting. But here's the problem with trying to price 10 different services in one meeting is we tend to rush things. And pricing is too important to rush. We have to do it the right way. We have to ask the right questions. That's uncover the value. We have to then build things up with the words, going through things like brochures and the process so they understand and see the benefit. And then we want to involve them in the pricing process, perhaps using effective pricing. And so if you're pricing like the biz advisory, the process I've taught you today, that profit diagnostic could easily be a 60-minute, hour-and-a-half meeting. If the client also wants to talk about your pricing for bookkeeping and payroll and so on, you're going to end up either having a long meeting, 2-3 hours, which might be fine. If the client's happy and you're happy, then do that. Or you end up rushing things. And if you rush things, then you can't properly build up the value and you're not going to get the best price. And it's so important because what we sell in our industry is we sell recurring work. In other words, for things like advisory, bookkeeping, payroll, if you get the price wrong and price too low, then unless you have another meeting to fix that, this is every single month that you're working too hard for too little money. We owe it to ourselves to do the pricing properly and get the right price. Teresa Schinkel, this one is, I purchased the pricing software. Can I change this to this? Yes, I think we answered that one, Teresa, didn't we? So hopefully you've got that. Rosalind says, do you retain access to the VPA once you finish the 6-month course? So very quickly, 2 options. One option is you only buy the 6-month course, and that's $2,000 or whatever your equivalent is. So you buy the course and you get to keep the course. Or you join the Value Pricing Academy, which is a monthly amount. You can leave whenever you want. When you leave, then you don't get access to the software and tools anymore. You get access to everything for as long as you're a member. And what you'll find is, there are people I've got still in the academy right now. Some people here, like John Johnson from Hartford in the UK, been with me right since the start in August 2014. We have quite a few people who have been with me right from the very start, because my goal is to just keep delivering you value. There'll be more stuff coming next year and the year after. I don't know what it is yet, but there'll be more value coming. I keep delivering value because I want to make sure that I want to help you to build a better practice and help you achieve your goals. And so my focus is once it is closed. The reason why we close this for 6 months is because the next 6 months is I'm focused on you. you're my priority. It's helping you get the results that you want. And when you're getting value, then hopefully you'll just carry on staying. But if you want to leave, you can do. It's entirely up to you. Hope that's helped. So going back to the question, Rosalind, yeah, just because you finished the course in 6 months, the Value Pricing Academy, you just carry on for as long as you're getting value. And if you're not getting value, then you can just go into the settings on my website and hit the cancel button. You're not locked in at all. Remember, you can cancel anytime you want. And also remember, I said yesterday that if you're not sure about the Value Pricing Academy, then my advice is, if you're not 100% sure, join anyway before Monday. Join, because you can then come to the sessions next week, and then if you decide two weeks down the line it's not quite right for you, anytime in the first 30 days, email Sarah, say, this isn't what I was expecting, it's not valuable, can I have a refund? And we don't ask questions, we just refund you and say thank you for at least giving it a try. Okay, so there's nothing to lose by giving it a try. Okay, William says, would this be recommended for a bookkeeping business that's just starting out, Mark, or would the BPA be a better fit, working on getting my first few clients for my bookkeeping business? I think it depends, William, on where you want to go with your firm. So the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy is really aimed at bookkeepers because we focus on how to price bookkeeping. The Value Pricing Academy, we go beyond that and look at things like the advisory as well as other services. So if you're a bookkeeping firm, do you want to start moving towards advisory? And interestingly, there was an announcement just recently, you might have seen, there's a joint venture arrangement between Xero and BotKeeper. Okay, it's interesting, and what we're going to find is increasing automation of compliance work. And I do think that the future is going to be advisory work. We have to start shifting from adding up the numbers to starting to give advice. So even if you're a bookkeeper, and I don't think bookkeeping is not dead. Bookkeeping is valuable, but the way technology is going is it will become harder. It will become harder as things get automated, and so there is going to have to be a shift where we shift away from just doing compliance work to moving towards helping clients achieve their goals, helping clients build better businesses. Let me move on. So I think this question, I think I've covered that one, Rob. Is there a membership fee after VPA isn't done? A Value Pricing Academy is you stay for as long as you're getting value. If you stop getting value, you can then stop the payments. Or, of course, the other thing you can do is if you're in the Value Pricing Academy and decide that you're a bookkeeper and you don't need any more help on advisory, you can downgrade to the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy. Okay, you can go up, you can go down. We keep it really simple for you. VJ says, Mark, if I join Value Pricing Academy, how many other resources will I need to implement your recommendation? I guess what you mean by that is, do I need to buy other things? Well, yes, you do, because you're running an accounting firm, so you need to have other things like how the software for you doing your tax returns. In terms of implementing what I say, if you want to do advisory and implement stuff, you don't need to have third-party software, but having a tool like LivePlan or Fathom or Spotlight Reporting will make it easier to produce great reports. You don't need it. You could build stuff in Excel. You could build stuff yourself, but there's software that will help you, like doing cash flow forecasts. You can build an Excel model for doing cash flow forecasts, and it won't cost you a single penny. You just have to build the model. Or you could say, my time's too precious to do that. I'm going to go and find someone that's already done it. So you could buy a great tool like Float. Float do one of the best forecasting tools out there. So there may be tools that make your life easier in implementing advisory. When it comes to marketing, we teach you how to build up leads on autopilot. But you will need to, as part of the marketing of your firm, if you want to grow your firm, you will need some email marketing software like MailChimp, for example. You need to have some software to have email addresses in there and send out emails. You will need to build pages on a website, and you may have an existing solution, but there are software tools that make it really, really easy and will recommend appropriate things. It may be that we recommend that you do surveys to find out what your customers want. And so you might want to use something like SurveyMonkey. And there's free versions, and there's some things you might want to pay for to get more. So yes, there will be things to if you want to build an amazing accounting firm doing all the things I teach, then there will be some things you'll need to invest in. But equally, there's always free options. There's always free options if you want to. You can build your own Excel spreadsheets. You can have the free version of SurveyMonkey if you want to do surveys. MailChimp is free if you don't want to do autoresponders. It's entirely up to you. So I hope that helps. Bottom line bookkeeping service. Are you a lifetime member if you take the course? Yes. If what you mean is you take option 1, and if you only want me to help you with business advisory and you want the 6-month program, you pay that one-off payment, and at the end of it, you keep the course. If that's all you want, then go down that option. If you want me to help you with other things like value pricing, if you want me to help you with marketing, then you join the Value Pricing Academy, and that's different. Okay, so one is a course, no live sessions with me, just a course, or you can have the monthly membership, the Academy, for as long as you get value. Okay. Sheila Flesher has a question, which I think Sarah's answered, so I'll leave that one. That's. I don't know what you mean, Rob, by that. Apologies. How detailed and simple is the website building piece? I'm not sure what you mean by the website building piece. On Monday, in Marketing Monday, I'm teaching how to build a great website, where I'll talk a lot about the language, the words, things you put on your website, things that are going to help you attract the right clients. You'll then need to go and build a website, and everybody has different things. You've either got someone who's built your website, or you do it yourself, and there's tools, there's software that builds websites. I don't teach you how to build websites because you've got a website, I guess, and someone's built it for you. What I'll be teaching you is how do you get a website, what are the words, what are the things you put on there that are going to get you the right sort of clients. Oh, wow. Janine says, I've joined, so excited. Thank you, Janine, because I know you were in the Online Live Academy, which is why I learned that you have that fascinating hobby of keeping bees. You're a beekeeper. As well as a beekeeper and bookkeeper. So Janine, it'd be great to work with you at a deeper level. Marina, hi there, Marina. You're using Kajabi. Yes, we use Kajabi. Kajabi is a great tool if you want to start doing training courses for your clients. Okay, I think I'm getting close. I think I'm getting close. Teresa says, if you put 3 packages on your website, can you still take them through the pricing software to determine what works best for them? Yes, you can. You can have. So one of the things that when you join the Value Pricing Academy, and one of the things you do on How To Thursdays, as I create all the brochures and whatever, every single brochure, this happens to be a bookkeeping one, it comes up with I don't know how well you can see it, a suggested set of packages, bronze, silver, gold, if you like. And one of the things you're allowed to do is you can take that and the words I create and you can put them on your website, and that's fine. And some people do put their packages on their website. It's fine to do that. The one thing you should never do is put the prices on your website. That's a crazy thing. It's a worrying trend in our profession of people putting prices on their website. We absolutely should not do that, but you can put your packages on there. There is, though, what I would say, Teresa, with that, though, is if there's something called the paradox of choice. If you give people too much choice, they don't choose and therefore don't buy. And so there's a danger that we can overcomplicate things. And a big mistake I see over and over again on websites, and I'm kind of getting into Marketing Monday's topic now, but on websites, I see a lot of people, particularly bookkeepers, putting their packages on there, and they list everything, including the kitchen sink. And it's so flipping complicated that people look at that and think, I don't know, bronze, silver, gold, I don't know if I need half those things. Let me find someone else's website that's a bit simpler to understand. And so sometimes there's a mistake that we put too much stuff in our packages. Now we can do that if we're having a face-to-face conversation, because in a conversation, we're uncovering the value, we're learning about the client, we start to understand and get a feeling for which one's right for them. And in the conversation, we can open up our brochure and we can start to point them in the right direction for what we recommend. But if they come to your website and it's too confusing, they'll go somewhere else. Okay, more of that on Monday. In Marketing Mondays, we'll go into a lot more detail on that sort of stuff. The mistakes people make with their websites. Absolutely, Rob. The bonuses are available until this time tomorrow. When we close the third session, we close the bonuses too. So you've got 24 hours, give or take 5 minutes. Can your system work for accountants who don't love all of the automation? You don't have to automate everything. I'm not quite sure what you mean by all of the automation, but yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of what I teach is, as you've probably gathered now, words are so important. The way we build up the value, the way we describe what we do, the language, the scripts, the words that we use are so important. So it's in value pricing. Sometimes people think value pricing is just about coming up with the price. That's actually a tiny piece. Value pricing is about understanding the clients, asking the questions, and how we communicate value. I would argue communication is the single most important thing we need to master with value pricing. And it's also the thing that as a profession we are lousy at. I was terrible when it came to communication. I would just, back in 96, 97, I'd say to people, I can do your tax return, £500. Oh, wow, that's really expensive. I had no idea about communicating value and how to build that up, how to communicate the value of what a tax return does for somebody. And so much of what I teach every month is the words. Yes, we can automate things. And there's some great tools and things you can use to automate, but you don't have to. It's up to you, Cookie. Right. I think we're getting close. If I've missed what you've said, if you've not used the QQ, I might have missed your comments. Do you have the brochures available on your website, downloadable for the prospects? No, because these brochures are exclusive to people in the Value Pricing Academy, and we cover roughly one every single month in the How To Thursdays. So no, they're not available. You get them as we work together during the next 12 months. I think that's all the questions. I will just see if anything more comes through. Oh yes, there was no QQ, Lucy, in front. Can we buy the brochures you produce? No, you can't. We did at one point sell courses, sell brochures. Now, I think I said this yesterday, is we prefer to just give everything to members of the Value Pricing Academy. And so all we do now, if you want to work with me, there's pretty much only 4 ways. You join the Value Pricing Academy, which is the most in-depth way. You join the Bookkeepers Pricing Academy if you only want to do bookkeeping. The brand new online live academy, I'll mention that tomorrow, or my software, Effective Pricing. And that's it, okay? And because I know from all the years I've been working with accountants and bookkeepers is that the best way to get results is not by buying courses. It's about making a commitment to yourself to take action every single month. Just do something. The action takers recognize Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take time. There's no shortcut to building a great accounting firm. The key is to invest in yourself to learn something new every single month and then apply something that you've learned every single month, which is why the core thing about the Value Pricing Academy is I teach you live every month. I teach you live and I encourage you to come to 1 live session a month. Learn, ask your questions, go and implement. Next month, come back to another live session. Learn, ask me your questions, go and implement. That's how you get results. You just have to keep learning every month, learn something, apply it. That's the formula for success. I can't really get it more simple than that. And that's why the core of the Academy is the live sessions with me, with Teresa, and with other trainers we bring you from time to time. And that's important because you can watch videos, but sometimes you watch a video and think, I didn't really understand that. And it gets too confusing. But with live sessions, you can ask the questions. Okay, anything else come through as I was just waffling there a little bit? No, David Colt says thanks. Thank you, David, part of the Academy already. Has been for some number of years. So I'm going to leave it with some music to play out, and I've also got some other little notifications on there. Please let me know that you've enjoyed it with the like button, and remember, show up tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day. We've got some very special and some brand new stuff to show you tomorrow, so make sure you are coming tomorrow. If you did miss yesterday's, catch up with the recording, which is on my YouTube channel, and we'll be there for a few more days if you missed the session. I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye for now.
I wasted all my time, I wasted all my nights, I wasted it on someone who's indifferent. He didn't love me right, he told me I was blind, but I never really wanted to listen. You have been